hands and we're all heading in the same direction. And, you know, you go to northeast Arnhem Land, you go to the Tiwi Islands, you head throughout into central Australia. There's enormous passion for the game. And people are still, I think, in the remote world trying to understand, is this real? Can it be? But once they start to get the feel that it is real, and it can be if we all do the work and we do it together, then there's enormous support and there's a real strong groundswell.
I'll ask you one more question. We're about to be joined by, it's always awkward at this time of night on a Friday night, Brisbane News Radio about to join us as well here on Friday Night Footy. We're at Marara, marvellous venue to look at as well. Just thoroughly enjoyed wandering around. Good crowd in for the Suns up against Port Adelaide. The Suns warming up to the left of our broadcast position. Port Adelaide to the right. We will take you downstairs for the Welcome to Country in just a moment as well, wherever you're listening on ABC Local Radio, News Radio and Sport Digital. As we welcome our listeners from Brisbane News Radio to Marara for Gold Coast versus Port Adelaide. We've got a special guest in the box here on Friday Night Footy on ABC Sport. Last question to Sean Bowden, the chair of NT Football. The social good that could come of having a 20th team based in the territory, what would it mean?
It's in many ways at the heart of the bid. And we know that there's disparity and we know there's disadvantage. If you look out there today, there's no disparity and there's no inequity. Everyone's equal on the football field. Everyone's equal in their support. And it's a way of engaging young Aboriginal men and women, and not just young Aboriginal men and women, youth generally through the Northern Territory, and, you know, keeping them engaged, getting, you know, linking to education, linking to work, linking to good health, good living. I was just listening to Michael McLean, just extraordinary listening to him. And basically he said, you live life like you play football, and yet at all times you seek to be decent. You seek to do the right thing. You seek to be calm. You seek to project yourself the right way. So, I mean, it's just, it really is at the heart of the bid. And it's something, I'm glad you asked me the question, because it's something that's sometimes little understood down south, where the metrics dominate. How much is it going to cost? How many people? What's the draw going to look like? But for us, and the reason we're doing it, and, you know, credit to the men on the and women on the task force who've joined us, they're doing it because of that's a major inspiration. And if we can, when we do this team, when it does happen, it will happen one day. That'll be at the heart of it. Northern Territory in Australia will be a better place for it.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Sean Bowden joining us, the chair of NT Football. We're about to head downstairs for the Welcome to Country and the smoking ceremony as players from the Gold Coast Suns move across. They'll stand on the left-hand side of centre wing. Yardapulti, which is what Port Adelaide is known as during the Sir Doug Nicholls rounds, to the right of our broadcast position here in the Morris Rioli stand. Clint Wilden alongside Rob Cross, Lauren Arnell and Joel Bowden, our experts. Really looking forward to this. Always great to hear some stories of Michael Magic McLean as well. He's the honoree of the 2026 Sir Doug Nicholls rounds. Strengthened by First Nations, it says here on the broadcast wing. Larrakia, name locally for where we are here in Darwin in the Northern Territory. There's a good crowd in. It's warm conditions, about 28 degrees, pretty humid as well. We'll get all the conditions for you very shortly downstairs with Will Zwar, but we're about to head downstairs for what is always a terrific moment as these two clubs come out into the middle for the Welcome to Country and for the smoking ceremony. Let's see if we can head out there now.
Willie Hewitt and Tommy Hender.
Doug Nichols round, I first would like to acknowledge the past players to the current players for leading the way for the next generation of First Nations players in this great game we love, AFL. I acknowledge my Larrakia elders and families and pay my respect to the past, present and future of our Larrakia people and our lands and waters. The Larrakia people also acknowledge fellow Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander nations. From across the road to across the lands and seas, I pay our respect to your people of your lands and waters, past, present and future. For thousands of years, we have called this place home, as under the soles of our feet always was and always will be Aboriginal lands of the Larrakia people. Now we are this vibrant city called Darwin. Many people call home. We live, we work, and we play on our country. This is Larrakia country. This is Darwin. On behalf of our Larrakia elders and families, we welcome you all to this very special gathering. We welcome you. We welcome Gold Coast Suns, and we welcome the Port Adelaide Football Club. Welcome to Larrakia country. Welcome to Darwin.
The voice there of Janine McLennan. As the smoking ceremony continues. Larrakia people. Smoking ceremony in front of both sets of players. Now returning back to the middle, the commentary wing.
Thank you.
And after they move across the officials, the umpires and the players, that ends both the smoking ceremony and the official welcome to country downstairs here at Marara. Gold Coast up against Yardapulti. So Doug Nichols rounds continue. Last night, big win to the Cats over Brisbane. Tonight, 2 games will keep you right across the Swans and the Magpies. But as we prepare for the start, let's get the thoughts of our experts, Lauren Arnell and Joel Bowden. The final thoughts before we get underway. Who wins and why? What are the keys, team?
Well, as you said last night, there was a bit of a change in the stratosphere. I had Brisbane pegged to just go for a three-peat, and Tom Stewart changed that. What will the Gold Coast do tonight? What can Matt Rao show tonight to change our thinking of the Gold Coast? And will a dominant performance give anyone any more confidence that they can be in the top 4? Or is it just they win at Marara and it'll be up to the next 5 or 6 weeks? And can they beat teams like Brisbane or Hawthorn as they move forward?
Well, I think having watched a lot of Josh Carr's Port Adelaide this season, I do think it's going to be closer than what many expect tonight. And I've got an inkling that perhaps the Suns have come in a little bit too tall, and if the ball's hitting at ground level, Port Adelaide have definitely selected a side for that. No doubt the Suns have got the classier team on paper, but I think the grittiness that Port Adelaide have played with and Yardapulti and the meaning of that within the football club, I think it will be a closer game. I do expect the Suns to win, Joel, but I do think it will be a little bit closer than what many expect.
And let's hope so, because the fans have turned out. They are here, notoriously late Territorians, aren't we, Rob? For events, we like to turn up right on time, which when there's a crowd, we end up getting caught in traffic. But the crowd have rolled in, and let's hope it is a tight contest, and we can see some really, really good football from these 2 fantastic teams of amazing players.
Just watching the coin toss, and it looks like the Suns have won. Joel Jeffrey and Dan Rioli out there, getting a photo with Magic McLean, and Port have 4 players out there: Zach Butters, Jace Burgoyne, Jason Horne-Francis, and also Jones as well out there for the coin toss. So the Gold Coast are kicking to the airport end here in the first quarter after winning the toss.
Let's find out what it's like downstairs. Will Zwar, welcome.
Yes, good to be here. Similar conditions to last week, 29 degrees, 72% humidity. The ground does feel a little bit wet, less wet than it did last week, so that might change conditions. Starting on the bench this evening for Gold Coast, it'll be Nick Holman, Leo Lombard, Joel Jeffrey, the inclusion Jared Witts and Zeke Hewland. And for Port Adelaide, Joe Berry, Jace Burgoyne, Christian Moraes, Ollie Wines and Jack Watkins will be starting on the pine.
Who have you got, Rob?
Look, I'm a little bit with Laura. I think overall, player for player, I like the Suns, but I've always been a Josh Carr, I wouldn't say a fan because he was such a tough, gnarly player, but I think he instills that into this Port team. I think it'll be closer than people think, but I'm going Suns just.
If you want a stat that leans in favour of Port Adelaide, they are Gold Coast's hoodoo club. They've played 17 times. The Suns have beaten them just twice. It's the worst record the Suns have against any team in the competition. Keep that up your sleeve if you're a Port fan. We're underway. Opening term. Here's Rob Cross.
Moyle in ruck for the Suns wins the first tap and follows the ball up at ground level. Touk Miller wants the handball to come out from Rowell. Rowell can't get rid of it. All over the top of him is Horn Francis. Comes out there to Goulburn, squeezes the handball off to Moyle, kicking towards the pocket over the top of Jed Walter. He's got Radagalier beside him. It trickles out of bounds. And someone who proudly gave that stat this afternoon was none other than Ken Hinkley.
Oh, was it? There you go. It's a good stat if you're a Port fan. By the way, Collingwood by 22 points. The game at the SCG. 19 into the second there. Thrown in. One down here by Sweet. Trying to get a kick away was Graham. Couldn't do so for the Suns. They'll try to get a second time through Rowell. He got harassed off it. Managed to clear it away here. Port towards right half back. Rioli. Hand pass for the Suns forward. Power onto it. Then to Miller. Hand pass again. Here's Anderson. Hand passing it to Petrarca. Tries to get a kick away. Got tackled to ground. Ball up in the air. Still Petrarca. Goes again. Shoveled the hand pass out. Georgiades is there. Picks it up. Gives it to Horn Francis at right half back. And then Burne-Jones moves it forward. Vicentini couldn't take it. Noble does for the Suns. Moves it quickly back towards left half forward. Petrarca. Clever hand pass. Moved it on. The shot at goal is an absolute beauty. From left half forward, just what they wanted. The kick from Will Graham in the left forward pocket. He's got there first. Suns on the board, opening 90 seconds, one straight six. Port Adelaide, Yardapolti yet to score.
We saw these challenges from Yardapolti last week at Adelaide Oval against the Dogs. The D50 stoppage, sending too many players inside and leaving their forwards heavily outnumbered once it comes out. And Georgiades, an incredible contest there to compete 1v3, but there's too many smart players from the Suns connected and in good shape outside their forward 50, and to get the re-entry and get them on the hop, it's just well structured from the Suns.
And there was a lot of contested ball there for 30 seconds a minute. It came out, there was a short kick that came out. Daniel Rioli, who's confident, played in front of his man, got the ball and took it back inside 50.
Great midfield battle going on at the moment as the Yardapolti get up towards centre half forward. Petrarca, though, there for the Suns. Trying to sock it off the ground was Sweet. He just pulled his kick. It would have been kicking the danger. Richards goes to ground, holding the ball decision. It's going to go to Yardapolti. At right half forward, edge of the centre square, about 70 metres out from goal. And it's Whitlock out there. Kicks towards a pretty stagnant forward line. Mac Andrews in the pack. Thump to ground in towards the pocket. Lots of small men on offer for Yardapolti. Back towards the boundary line. Noah Anderson comes up with it for the Suns. He's corralled by a couple of Yardapolti players. Kicks up towards half back and a nice intercept. It comes in towards Farrell. He's got a booming boot on him. He's quickly shut down. He runs to about 80 from goal inside the centre square. Long. Mac Andrew running back. Big leap from behind, but Mac Andrew too tall in front. He's having a good season, and the Suns will clear from the back pocket.
Good defensive mark. Here comes Rioli. Takes two bounces. Nice Rioli grandstand side. From right half forward, kicks towards right half back, kicks to right half forward. No mark taken. Jones tries to gather. Humphreys battling away, taken to ground. Burne-Jones got there. Hand pass to Butters. Back to Jones. Umpire spotted a free kick.
Super matchup.
Jones.
Lockie Jones v Bailey Humphrey. If you like contested footy, that's the matchup to watch tonight.
Mullet in full flow for Jones as he goes back to Alir at left half back. Goes across towards Evans at centre half back, into the middle of the ground. Chance for Sweet, has to bend down low to complete the mark. Outer edge of the centre circles, kicks into the right forward pocket. There's a 3-on-1 in favour of the Suns here. Vicentini outmarked there by Collins, goes up and gives it out to Noble. A clearing kick towards the outer wing for the Suns.
The Suns just have to pause out between wing and half back as the Yotapulti players flood back. Goes towards the boundary line, and it's going to go out of bounds before Walter could get it. In fact, it's out of bounds on the full, so it'll be a free kick, and that's thrown way over the head of Sweet, who wants a 50-metre penalty. I don't think he's going to get it. So Sweet will bring the ball back into play for Yotapulti on the outer side. Good crowd in attendance here at Marara. Sweet's just going to go straight down the line. Kicks it up towards half forward, towards the 50-metre arc. Big pack there. Moyle from behind with the spoil. And he sees it out of bounds 60 metres around at right half forward for Yotapulti.
Suns who lead with the opening goal from the boot of Graham. 1 straight 6. Yotapulti yet to score. Going right half forward for the Power. The teams in their Indigenous jumpers. Half time we'll get Rob to tell you all about them as Moyle a tap down and looks to slap it forward. Trying to get it McKinlay up against Noble. Picks it up off the ground. Oh, breaks a tackle too. He's done pretty well. Still going here. McKinlay looking to move it inside forward 50. Shot on goal. What a great kick that was. McKinlay just kept going. He's pretty happy about the goal as well and scores a level here at Marara. 1 straight 6 apiece. 5.5 gone in the opening term. He really is starting to show something. Ewan McKinlay, the 22-year-old, his 4th goal of the season, had to outpoint Noble at first, broke the rail tackle, took a bounce. Great finish from the young man.
If you're in the McKinlay household, Joel, this week you'd be putting that on replay a few times, breaking a tackle from the Brownlow medalist in Rowell, and probably a small example of how limited his footy's been so far this year. I'm sure he'll work his way into the game, but McKinlay, 2 weeks in a row now, kicking an absolute ripper on the run for Yotapulti.
Well, put that on your highlights package. 2 bounces just on 50, slots it straight over the goal umpire's head. Beautiful football.
Moyle again wins the tap over the top of Sweet. Drew gets there first, shrugs the tackle, kicks the ball around on the right boot, up towards half forward, just inside 50. Yotapulti might still be a chance here, fighting hard at ground level. Was Richards involved? Just waiting for the ball to come out. There is Corey Durden as well. Might have been a free kick in the back, or the umpire will come in and ball it up instead. So right on the 50-metre arc, just into attack Yotapulti. It's quickly thrown up. Moyle again. Yotapulti come up with a footy. Centering ball is good. Numbers with the Suns. A spoil over the back, and will go through for a rush behind. So they lead by a point, the Gold Coast Suns, but they're being pressured early by this impressive Yotapulti team.
So a kick in to the right back pocket. Noble. Ewan to Powell. It's commentary wing. One-on-one battle here. Alir turns after being up against King. Scooped up by Burgoyne. Back to Sweet of the Power. Bounces a kick down the commentary wing. Trying to meet it was Powell. Got bumped off it. Strong play from Port. Here they go. Chain of hand passes. And Anastasopoulos then kicks towards full forward. Coming out to take the mark. They'll be able to go back and have a shot. Beautifully worked again. That's Richards. He'll be able to have a shot from about 35 metres out. He'll start in line with the left hand behind post.
Well, a healthy first involvement for Anastasopoulos and also Jordan Sweet. I'm watching both rucks, and Moyle sinking back defensively to support numbers, and also Sweet. And Sweet winning that battle and setting this opportunity up.
In comes Joe Richards. Oh, that's a shocking kick. Spraying it to the right, out of bounds on the full. No change to that score.
Missed opportunity for Yotapulti. He was only 30 metres out, but perhaps a testament to the slipperiness of the conditions. Bodie Hewland shares it in the back pocket. Will Powell from the right back pocket. Centering ball. Sweets there again. Gathers it pretty well. Taps it onto his teammate. Here's Jace Burgoyne to Lockie Jones. Back to Burgoyne. He steadies and sends it back to half forward. Beautiful kick. He just weighted the ball superbly to Butters. Wastes no time. Handball over the top. Gives it to the long kicking Berry. Up towards the top of the square. Trapped by Georgiades. Second goal for Yotapulti. They are on 2 straight 12. Gold Coast to kick the first goal and were dominant in the first couple of minutes. Now trail by 6 points.
Joel, Port Adelaide's defenders getting around their ruckman Jordan Sweet. He's cut off 2 Gold Coast chains from their D50 and resulted in scoring opportunities. But just looks like you mentioned in the pre-game, a territory game, not necessarily a Northern Territory game, but Port Adelaide doing a really good job to set the ground up to keep the ball in their front half.
And I'm going to claim him, Jace Burgoyne, because I played footy with his dad, Peter Burgoyne, in the NT side. He changed the angle. He is, wandering across half back. He pulled it back and found a new angle that just opened up the field and gives Port a chance to score their second goal. And it's a good start for Port Adelaide.
They're up by 1 point, up by 7 points, 2-1-13 to 1 straight 6. By the way, if you're listening at the ground, they've just amended the scoreboard on the outer side. Gold Coast move it quickly towards centre half forward. Anderson's able to gather off the deck, kicks inside forward 50. King went up, couldn't mark it. At the back, he kicks it through. Moyle, he's got the goal, and they respond at the crumb. One of the biggest players out on the ground. Not what you'd expect to see as a crumbing forward, but it worked out beautifully. Ned Moyle with his first goal of the season and just the third of his career. And the Suns respond. They trail by a point. We've gone 10 minutes into the opening term. If you want to get in touch with us, by the way, here on Friday Night Footy on ABC Sport, our text line 0437 774 774. James, listening on ABC Listen, 30,000 plus feet on a flight from Adelaide to Perth, somewhere over the Great Australian Bight. Hoping my Suns can get up tonight. Let us know where you're listening, wherever you are. 0437 774 774. Our experts, Lauren Arnell and Joel Bowden.
Just a quick one there. Jones outmatched with Ned Moyle. 20 centimetres he had on him, and Moyle beat him at ground level.
Great tap over his head by Sweet. Send Yatapulti up towards their 50-metre arc. Diving over the top was Morace. He's got Noah Anderson for company. The umpire will come in and ball it up. Pretty powerful bench down there, Lauren. They're both Butters and Horn-Francis off for Yatapulti at the moment. As it's tossed back in, just outside 50. Witt's on, wrestling there with Sweet. Comes out the back of the pack. Noah Anderson does well. And kicks it up towards right half forward. Working his way to the front was King. Good pressure came from Alir. Excellent tackle by Burgoyne. And no prior opportunity for Humphrey. There will be a ball up 60 metres out at right half forward for the Gold Coast.
You do feel for Lachie Jones. He's been taken deepest by Moyle, and 186 v 206 is the deepest forward. It's not going to be a good time for Lachie Jones in the air.
Petrarca snatches it out of the restart, kicks inside forward 50. We've got the numbers here, Port. They'll need to be strong. Farrell breaks the tackle of Humphreys and then gets a kick away towards centre wing, commentary side. It'll bounce near the logo, bounce over the top of Andrew. Rioli battles away. He's got to beat an opponent there in Moraes. Eventually they're able to mop up. Well done to Rioli. Gets a kick down the wing, and there's Witts who marks. Into the team after Ugle-Hagan was the late out because of an ankle injury. Witts having involvement, taking a mark right in front of the Maurice Rioli grandstand. He's there at right half back for the Suns.
He's pretty skilled, Witts. We've seen him play some terrific games up here despite the slippery conditions. Horn-Francis is back on, tucks it under one wing, spins away from the tackle, gave it to Wines. Comes out there to Watkins. Watkins kick up in towards the centre, is to Georgiades, and thought about the handball to Berry. Now he holds up play and gives to Darcy Byrne-Jones instead. Kicks it one-on-one contest. Oh, Richards almost took the mark, gathers the bouncing crumb, kicks it across the face of goal, a behind only. Promising build-up again by Yatapulti. Richards has looked lively. It's 2-2 to 2 straight, 2-point lead.
We saw a core element of the Suns' comeback last week. Early in the game was their back half offence, and Port Adelaide doing a great job of slowing that down tonight already.
Odie Ewan with the kick in to Noble in the right back pocket for the Suns. As Rob said, they trail by 2 points. First quarter here at Marara. Pack off hands. Now got it away to Miller. Sweeping hand pass was terrific, but the kick from Graham wasn't. Bounce forward, worked out okay. Chance for Humphreys to backtrack from the attacking point of the centre square. Drills a pass inside forward 50. There was Lombard. Gathers, kicks a goal from 40 out, 45-degree angle to the right. It was beautiful until it got to about right half forward. Then it got scrappy, and then it got magnificent again. And the Suns find themselves back in front. Gold Coast up by 4 points over Yatapulti. 13 minutes gone in the opening term. The Suns are 3 straight 18, Port 2-2-14.
Well, it came off a grubber kick, an absolute shocker, but Humphrey was able to gather it. He burnt Rao there with a handball receive, but then turned back onto his right foot. Didn't quite execute perfectly, but able to fix it up, snap a goal from 35 metres out. And a little bit of local knowledge, I think, Rob, where Daniel Rioli went to the toss and he kicked the airport end. Always the scoring end is the airport end.
Helter-skelter start. It's fast and furious as Witts goes up and then falls to ground. Vicentini all over the top of him. The umpire says no opportunity to get it out. We'll have a restart. As Vicentini and Witts wrestle again. Comes to Took Miller. Pops a little handball over the top. It's spiked away though by Vicentini towards half forward. Comes down to Berry. Back onto the left boot. High kick to the top of the goal square. Collins works his way to the front, gets pushed under the footy, allowed to get away with it. Handball's thrown out almost. Play on Moraes. The umpire says no, it was a throw. And so there'll be a free kick on the last line to Daniel Rioli at the Michael Long Leadership and Learning Centre end of Marara.
So Rioli stands in his defensive goal square, takes a bit of a run, kicks in the direction of the commentary wing. One down here in a decent battle. Walter did well, got it back to Leo Lombard. Most recent goal kicker sends it long to King. Takes a good diving mark, contested grab, falls to ground. He'll put boot to ball from about 35 metres out, starting in line with the left hand behind post.
I think there's something in the last two Suns' progress forward from their back half. It's been a lot quicker than the first 10 minutes of this quarter, and I think that speed on the ball will be very hard to defend for Yardapolti, and promising signs for the Suns in the last few minutes.
Moment in Coleman medal leader Ben King, 32 goals to his name so far in 2026. This kick's on its way. Make that 33. The Suns, all of a sudden, they've kicked 2 goals in the blink of an eye. 15 and a half minutes gone in the opening term. They're now 4 straight to Port 2-2. Gold Coast by 10 points. Friday night footy at Marara here in Darwin. Clint Wilden alongside Rob Cross, our experts, Lauren Arnell and Joel Bowden.
Well, it was almost a spoil forward from that contest. Rather than spoiling it front and centre, it was I'm going to try and hit it over the top. Lombard got onto it, and I tell you what, he's a good mark and he's a good kick, that King. He continues to play well for the Suns, and he hardly misses. Talking about taking your opportunities, not only does he take them, he takes them almost 9 out of 10.
33 goals, 7 now for the season.
And only 2 Suns players playing tonight of double figures. Petrarca's got 13. 4 Yardapolti players have double figure goals this season so far playing here tonight at Marara. It's 10-point lead halfway through the first quarter. Great conditions, hot as always. As away goes Miller. Advantage was paid. He kicks it inside 50 again. Walter there this time. Gets pushed off the footy by Radigalia. Runs to the back of the pack. Walter's got good pace once it hits the ground. He can't quite keep it in the right forward pocket though. And will have a boundary throw in. 20 metres around from the Suns' goal. Kicking towards the airport end. 4 straight 24 to 2-2-14. In towards King and Vicentini. King taps it down. Winds for Yardapolti. Comes to Lockie Jones. Comes to Miller though. Off to Hewland. Zeke Hewland this time. And he sprays the kick out of bounds on the full in the left back pocket. Yardapolti to bring it back into play.
One of 5 inclusions this week. If you include the late change with Witts in for Ugelhagen. Zeke Hewland back into the team. An update for you in the A-League men's semi-final. Auckland leading Adelaide 1-0 at the moment. The aggregate therefore 2-1 in favour of Auckland FC. It goes beyond defensive 50 towards left half back. The mark taken then by Whitlock to Butters. Long kick to the outer wing. Briefly weighted. Running underneath it. Anastopoulos. I'll get that right eventually. Gets it back a second time. Going through the middle by hand to Butters. Receives it back. Anastasopoulos. Quick hand pass came to Farrell. Now on to Jones. Tackled immediately by Jeffrey. Got a hand pass out nonetheless to Watkins. Port have it inside forward 50. And here's Anastasopoulos. And he takes the mark right where the 50's on the ground at right half forward. Can he carry the distance here? He doesn't try to. In fact, he's gone short to a target inside the right forward pocket. And the mark has been taken deep to Whitlock. About 20 metres out and probably only 2 or 3 metres in from the boundary.
Unselfish and chaotic footy from Yardapolti's created this opportunity. Lockie Jones looks to be suffering a little bit on the far side from the initial contest of over handballs.
Rising Star nomination, Jack Whitlock, 11-8 for the season for the 19-year-old. Looks to snap it around the body. He's pushed it across the face. Missing to the outer side. A minor score, 2-3-15 Port. Gold Coast 4 straight 24, 19 gone in the first.
Suns didn't waste any time to bring it back into play. Collins marks between full-back and centre-half back. In front of the Morris Rioli grandstand. To the 50-metre arc, and he finds Touk Miller. So steady out of defence by the Suns, looking for 10 wins in a row here at Marara. He goes in the Witts direction. He works his way to the front pretty easily in the end. Sweet gave up on that, and Witts takes the mark. Maybe starting to already feel the heat. Chips over the top to Zeke Uland. Mighty impressive players, these Ulands. Steps straight into senior footy. Zeke's first season. Bodie's been there a couple. He kicks in towards the pocket. Walters there, pushing and shoving. Hits him in the nose, I think, in the end. In goes Lockie Jones. And slips out of his grasp and goes out of bounds in the right forward pocket for the Suns, about 40 metres around from their goal.
Quick update for you. Late in the second term at the SCG, Collingwood leads Sydney by 27 points, 6-9 to 2-6. Ball back into play, front position up against Sweet. Now they've got a telling tap. Spills down here and a long clearing kick from Byrne-Jones towards left half back. Georgiades elects to soccer it off the ground for Yardapolti. Not where he wanted it to go though. Down the throat of Adams. Sends it inboard. Defensive edge of the centre circles. Taken then by Rioli. He'll flare it out to Weller. He's on true centre wing. Out of side of Marara. Moves it on by foot to Rioli. Takes the uncontested mark between wing and left half forward. Get told to move it on in a moment as he assesses the options. Now he'll be forced to kick, and he'll do so. Deep into the left forward pocket. Oh, big fly, Walter. Couldn't quite get to it. Spilled down. Aaliyah kicked up and down in the lift sharp. Tapped down by Sweet. Only as far as Weller, though, of the Suns. Hand pass back there to Walter. Now to Humphrey, deep in the right forward pocket. He kicks around the body. Almost. What a terrific goal. From almost nothing. He's been able to find it. In fact, it's Goulburn who's kicked it, I beg your pardon. It's the young man in Goulburn, Lockie Goulburn, the 19-year-old with just his second goal. Goulburn has kicked an absolute beauty from the deep left forward pocket position here at Marara. Gold Coast lead by 15 points. 5 straight 30 to Port, 2-3-15.
It was a ripping finish, and I did think it was Bailey Humphrey on the opposite leg, but what a finish from the young guy. Joel, I'm interested in your thoughts. The game has been red hot and so quick. It looked in that passage of play in particular, Port Adelaide's mids and defenders started ball watching, and how much the heat and the pace of this game already plays into that.
Yeah, and Dan Rioli's run off half back. He got the ball on half back, switched it and got the next kick on the half forward flank to put it deep inside 50. It's a fantastic goal, and that's the St Mary's pocket down there. So Daniel Rioli and the Longs, the Riolis, would have loved watching that go through the big sticks.
Let's head downstairs. Wills Wales on the boundary.
Yeah, beautifully called by Lauren Arnell there. As soon as she said that Lockie Jones was looking a bit tired, his number went up and he's made his way to the bench. Took his time, he huffed and puffed all the way over, but he's off for a well-earned break.
Aliir from fullback kicks out towards left half forward for the Suns. It's coming back in through Powell. In front, Burgoyne went up with one hand, couldn't take the mark. Handball flipped over the top there by Horn Francis. It's back to Burgoyne. It's ricocheting around just outside the 50-metre arc at left half forward for the Suns. Loving the work too, Joel, of Jed Walter. He hasn't taken a mark yet, but he's competing, bringing the ball to ground.
And it keeps it in the area. If he doesn't mark it, no one else is marking it. He attacks it with such ferocity.
In it comes Moyle again, in front, Sweet, won the tap. Through goes Butters, kicks in towards the centre. Handball's good to Horn Francis. They stream through the middle, kick missed its target. Georgiades was on the lead. Bodie Uland, back to Collins, inside defensive 50. Back to Bodie Uland. Sharing the footy around half back, and he finds Joel Jeffrey, the hometown boy, just outside defensive 50. He pokes another short pass to Oscar Adams.
Adams just pauses for a moment. Had time on the St Kilda list before being picked up by Gold Coast. Kicks down the commentary wing, attacking the football as King. I spotted a free kick. It's going the way of Port. Comes to Yardapolti. Aliir will have the free. He's got it at left half back. Glances to his right, puts the bright orange boots in motion, goes on a run towards the logo, commentary wing, and then kicks along towards left half forward. Oh, big fly, Bodie Ewan leapt at it, got both fists to it, and then sends it about 3 rows back into the Morris Rioli grandstand. Throw in left half forward for Port Adelaide. 5 straight, plays 2-3. Gold Coast by 15 points. 24 gone in this opening term. Friday night footy on ABC Sport, on ABC Local Radio, News Radio, and of course Sport Digital. Free kick being spotted here that will go Gold Coast way. They've got it at right half back. Logan
Evans been caught by the umpire holding on to Christian Petrarca outside of the stoppage.
Yeah, it's about 15 or 20 metres away. So Petrarca has it.
I'd be nervous too.
Right half back. If he can catch a big fish, he's probably going to catch the footy. Lombard, little handball to Noah Anderson. Oh, clever kick. It's going to bounce off the chest of King. And a chance for Yardapudi to clear. King follows up brilliantly, loops the handball out wide here. Powell's taken down in a strong tackle, 30 from goal low. There in number the Suns. Comes back to Lombard, who's been busy. Onto the right, onto the left, back onto the right. Beautiful spearing ball and a chance for the Gold Coast to line up. It's Goulburn again for his second. But Lombard twisting and turning, and I must give credit also to King, just continuing to compete. He dropped the chest mark, didn't give up on the footy, and now the Suns have a chance for another goal.
Well, he dropped the mark, Rob, but I also wonder what the rule is. If a player who's going for a mark can be tackled while they're going for the mark and then they don't mark it, like they haven't got prior possession and you're tackling them. I don't think that's fair.
From 45 metres, Goulburn for his second. He's just away to the left-hand side. The first blemish for the Gold Coast Suns. 5-1-31. Lead Yardapudi 2-3-15. About 25 and a half gone in the first quarter.
Suns with the kick in. Port with the kick in. Go up the middle. Trying to leap up towards that was Adams. Couldn't get to it. Here's Richards. Gathers for the power on the logo. Commentary wing. Kicks deep inside forward 50. Collins was strong up against Durden. Was able to win the football. Got it down to Rioli. Chance now for Ewan to go beyond defensive 50. Kicks back towards the wing. Flying. There was King. Spilled down here to Holman. Hand pass to Graham. Hand pass was meant for Lombard. Was through traffic and couldn't gather. Butters has it now for the power. They'll go the other way. Comes again here to Farrell. Kicks long towards full forward. Leading out to Mark Georgiades. Deep in the left forward pocket. He'll put boots of ball from about 40 metres out.
You're filthy if you're Sam Collins. His effort to peel off and support the first entry defensively for the Suns was impeccable and something that you'd think would be shown during the week. But the quick re-entry from Yardapolti after setting their defence up really well, again, it's almost not fair to have to defend that again. A second time against Mitch Georgiades.
Already got one tonight. Georgiades comes in for the power. Kick has hit the left-hand goalpost. Minor score. 2-4-16 now. The power, 5-1-31 Gold Coast. The Suns by 15 points, 27 gone in the first.
Bodie Uland favoured the outer side and found Took Miller in the back pocket. And Uland wraps around and takes it another 30 metres down the line, just outside defensive 50, or just a couple of, maybe a metre inside. Got players free all the way down the boundary line.
This is the first time we've seen them go that far side on a kick in, the Suns?
I think you might be right. Yeah, they've tended to come to the grandstand side. Long ball up towards half forward. Moyle flew. Nicely done though by Butters. It's going against Drew, unfortunately. They're just about to run clear in the centre of Marara. It's going to be a Suns free kick.
I think the umpire played chopping the arms, and I'm not sure how he could reach that high on Moyle to chop his arms.
So Moyle has it. Inside attacking 50. King sets himself. Up he goes. Had it spoiled away. Ground level. Butters. Twisting his way from the contact was Burgoyne. Gave it to Aaliyah. His kick outside defensive 50. Paddled back in towards the arc. Taken away by Butters, or was it Moraes? Kicks it up and Paulie turns it over though. And the ball will come back into the 50 for Gold Coast Suns. They've got all the answers at the moment. Just a high kick, not great off the boot. Petrarca's there, so too is Humphrey. Goes to the back, not quite scooped up by Goulburn, who's ready. Here's Walter, he scoops it up, snap around the corner and pulled it too far for another behind to Gold Coast. 5-2-32, Yardapolti 2-4-16, 28 and a half gone first quarter.
Looked spectacular, but he had a number of Gold Coast players in front of him to give a handball. They can have it shot straight on goal. I don't think the coach would be very happy with that. Even though it looks spectacular, snapping it over your shoulder, the result's a point.
Here come the power. Farrell with the kick in. Long towards the commentary wing. Sweet at the back. Was able to tap it down. Oh, Holman. Big
Head clash.
Big head clash. Yeah, he's in real trouble there as he attacked the football. I think it's coming back the way of the power here anyway. It'll come into the hands of Lorenz. Holman stayed out there. He's holding his forehead for a moment as the switch is on. Out to Anastasopoulos. He'll move it again. This is Durden marking on the wing. Kicks in the direction of Horn Francis. Goes over his head. He tries to gather on the run. Couldn't. Noble picks it up. Gives it to Hewland of the Bodie variety. Then to Miller. Back to Noble again for the Suns. Sweeps a hand pass forward. Chance to go long. Suns move it down towards the left half forward, and it's gone away from Humphreys. What will the umpire say here? Touching on the way through. It's going to be thrown back in about, let's say, 60 out from the Suns attacking goal at left half forward.
Love that contest from John Noble against Jason Horn-Francis in that D50 there, and to create the run and drive for the Suns, that's going to be important for them tonight.
Sweet up against Moyle. Comes to the front of the pack. Wines is there. So's Evans for Yatapulti. Back to Wines. On the bounce towards Durden. Coming Vicentini. Clever tap to Moraes. And Moraes kicks it towards half forward. Beautiful pass on the chest. Sliding to his knees was Horn-Francis. Centering ball is good to Drew. Drew is right on 50. He got the leg. He's a pretty big kick. This might just test him. Lauren Arnold's doing the little hand wave as though 50-50 is going to have a bomb, because the siren sounds at quarter time here at Marara. It's a 16-point lead at the moment to Gold Coast. It's been a fluctuating game. Gold Coast have pulled away probably in the last half of the quarter. They started well. Port fought back and took a lead. But it's been Gold Coast 5-2-32 to 2-4-16. What's Drew got on him? He's got to kick straight through the ball. He can't run around. It's a long kick, but it's drifting away in towards the pocket and lands about 10 metres short to end the first quarter, with Gold Coast leading Yatapulti by 16 points.
So the Suns kicked the last 4 goals of the quarter for that 5-2-32 to 2-4-16 lead. And the goal kickers for the Suns, all individuals, Lombard, Moyle, Graham, King and Goulburn. While for Yatapulti, the power and goal kickers Mitch Georgiades and Ewan McKinlay. Quarter time, wherever you're listening, right around the nation on ABC Local Radio, Sport Digital and streaming on ABC Listen. Tonight we're on the AFL Extra button. We'll hear from our experts in just a moment. Lauren Arnell and Joel Bowden. This is Friday Night Footy on ABC Sport.
This is going to be quite a ride.
Every dream restoration starts with something worth holding on to.
We were in love. We figured we'd work it out.
Restoration Australia.
This is magnificent.
Back May 21 on ABC TV and ABC iView.
On ABC Local Radio, Sport Digital, and on ABC Listen. This is Sir Doug Nicholls Round with ABC Sport.
Vicentini couldn't take it. Noble does for the Suns. Moves it quickly back towards left half forward. Petrarca, clever hand pass, moved it on. The shot at goal is an absolute beauty. From left half forward, just what they wanted. The kick from Will Graham in the left forward pocket. He's got there first. Kinlay up against Noble, picks it up off the ground. Or breaks a tackle too. He's done pretty well. Still going here. McKinlay looking to move it inside forward 50. Shot on goal. What a great kick that was. McKinlay just kept going. He's pretty happy about the goal as well, and scores a level here at Marara.
Weighted the ball superbly to Butters. Wastes no time. Handball over the top. Gives it to the long kicking Berry. Up towards the top of the square. Trapped by Georgiades. Second goal for Yatapulti.
Anderson's able to gather off the deck. Kicks inside forward 50. King went up. Couldn't mark it. At the back. He kicks it through. Moyle. He's got the goal, and they respond at the crumb. One of the biggest players out on the ground. Chance for Humphreys to backtrack from the attacking point of the centre square. Drills a pass inside forward 50. There was Lombard. Gathers, kicks a goal from 40 out, 45 degree angle to the right.
This is Sir Doug Nicholls Round on ABC Local Radio, Sport Digital, and on ABC Listen.
And we're at Marara for Gold Coast against Yatapulti, the power in the Sir Doug Nicholls rounds. Quick score for you from the SCG. Half time, and the Magpies are up 6-9-45 to the Swans 3-6-24. That would be interesting. A couple of big upsets to start round 10. What are we seeing here, though? Gold Coast, they've got the advantage over the Power by 16 points at quarter time. Our experts, Lauren Arnell and Joel Bowden.
Well, Joel, you look at the stats of the game and there's not huge amounts of difference. Both teams have had 15 inside 50s each, but the efficiency at either end is what's costing Yardapolte and working in the Suns' favour right now. So the Suns have kicked 5 goals from 15 entries, Port Adelaide 2 goals from 15 entries, and there's been a level of inaccuracy at Yardapolte's end when they've had some fairly reasonable opportunities and sprayed the ball. But I watched the quarter play out, Joel, and how fast it was, breaknecking pace, and you just look at the overwhelming offence from the Suns and players like Petrarca. He's had 9 touches, I think. Rioli and Noble have had 8, and Bodie Hewland, a very impressive operator. It's the first time I've seen him live. The 10 possessions so far. It just, to me, seems like an overwhelming offence from the Suns that I'm not really sure how long Yardapolte can stand up against this.
I agree, Lauren, and they were very efficient going inside 50. A goal every 3 entries is very efficient. But what I saw and what I liked is their long kicking. And I talked about it before the game. They know how to play here, and they were using the ball with depth. They also compress the ground once it gets inside 50, and we saw a number of chain of handballs and contested possession that then the Gold Coast are able to keep the ball in their scoring zone. It goes forward. They manufacture one from the boundary. They're able to get a mark or a free kick, but they're actually getting more territory. I think Port are using the ball better, frankly. Their skills, their feet, their hands are better, and they're playing a more attractive style of game. They're not able to finish. It was disappointing then after the siren from just on 50 to not even make the distance. Now, as I said, Rob, the airport end is the scoring end, but you've got to be able to, at AFL level, kick 55 metres and at least score after the siren from 50 metres out. Now, I have liked Daniel Rioli. I'm very biased. I don't think I'm impartial, sorry, Clint. I'm parochial here for the territory lads.
Load up.
I want Joel Jeffrey to work his way into the game, but I did like Jace Bergen, and he set up a goal for Port where he changed the angle. He was drifting across half-back. He turned back in, went onto his left side when he probably shouldn't have. He's a right-footer. He spots someone up. They go in for inside 50 on a different angle. But to me, it is going at breakneck speed as usual in the AFL. And when you watch him live, you're in awe at how fast they go. Watch Tuke Miller. He took a kick in at one stage, short kick in. He then kicks it off. All of a sudden, he's in the forward line. And you think, how did he get there? Daniel Rioli, my favourite, gets the ball on half-back, hits a target. He gets the next kick on the half-forward flank. The way that they run, and it's hard to see this actually on the TV sometimes when you watch it, they are just running and running and running and putting pressure and pressure and pressure. And that's what Gold Coast are doing just a little bit better than Port. And they're kicking the ball just a little bit further.
And I like that they're kicking it further because they've got the weapons down the line, and we've seen that Yardapolte have been able to score on turnover offence when they've been able to slow the Suns down. And I think the more that the Suns put speed into their game and kick longer, Yardapolte won't be able to keep up.
And it hasn't been pretty at times for the Suns.
Does it need to be, though?
That's right. If you can kick 5 goals a quarter, there's not many teams that are going to beat you if you kick 20 goals in a game.
What do some of the individual numbers say? Rob Cross has got them in front of him. Rob?
As Lauren pointed out, Bodie Hewland's been terrific. 10 disposals, including 6 kicks. Christian Petrarca has had 9. Dan Rioli, Joel's favourite player, 8, along with Tuke Miller, 8. And Oscar Adams, who I really enjoy watching play as well, 7, along with John Noble. And for Yardapolte, Darcy Byrne-Jones has had 9 with 5 handballs. And Anastasopoulos, what a great debut. 8 disposals, 3 kicks, 5 handballs. Jace Burgoyne's been busy with 7. Butter's busy with 7. And Alir has had 5 disposals, all kicks.
Rob, did I say I liked watching Daniel Rioli better at Richmond? Much, much better.
Good from Joel.
Very sad that he left.
Good from Joel Bowden. A-League men's semi-finals. Second half, Auckland still lead Adelaide United 1-0, which means on aggregate, Auckland are up 2-1. It was Jake Girdwood-Reich scoring for Auckland from a corner in the 44th minute. So we'll keep you across that one. And Collingwood at the moment, as I mentioned, we're doing it pretty easily. Up at the SCG, half-time there, repeating 6-9-45 the Pies to 3-6-24 the Suns. Underway in the second term here, Friday night football at Marara. Ball thrown up, tackled Horne-Francis, taken to ground for Port by Witts. Ball it up again in the centre circles. Sweet against Witts. Witts got it down, but it went to Butters. Got it to Horn Francis. Gets the arms free and then hands it off to Burgoyne. Will kick the power deep inside their forward 50. Vicentini tapped it down. It came towards Berry under pressure from Jeffrey. And Jeffrey's given away the free kick. Berry right in front of goal. Should be able to go back and convert for the power.
It was a really clever tap from Vicentini. He was sort of out-positioned initially in the marking contest, but he's actually much more of a ruckman than a forward and tapped it down Berry's throat. And I think just the speed of the kids forced the free kick.
Joe Berry is right in front at the airport end. He pops it through. Port with the first of the second term. They cut the Suns' lead to 10 points in the opening 50 seconds of this quarter. Gold Coast 5-2-32. Port moved to be 3-4-22. Friday night footy on ABC Sport. Our experts, Lauren O'Neill and Joel Bowden.
You called it, Joel, the scoring end.
Well, it's a scoring end, but it's on the back of Jason Horn Francis' explosive power out of the contest. That, you know, they've got 8 people around the ball, secondary stoppage, he gets it, and it looks like there's no one around him. He gives it off to territory lad, Jace Burgoyne, and go deep inside 50, and you can't tackle someone when they don't have the ball, and a little bit of a mistake, I think, there by Joel Jeffrey. But Berry converts because he's 20 metres out, directly in front.
I think there was actually a mistake from Berry initially. Tried to handball it onto Georgiades, slipped out of his hands, and then that's when Jeffrey offended. So a little bit unlucky, perhaps, as the ball is kicked up towards half forward for the Suns. Coming through is Petrarca. Another possession. Beautifully weaves his way through traffic, kicks in towards the right forward pocket. Not a great kick, though. Straight down the throat of Asava Radagalia. Yadapulti, back pocket. Kicking to the Michael Long centre end of Marara. Kicks long towards the wing. In front was Sweet, brings the ball to ground level. Numbers favour the Suns. Handball comes out from Lombard, sweeping ball to Mac Andrew, back to Miller. His low kick towards the boundary line. Taken there by Yuland, curls the kick around the corner. Lombard another possession, beautiful handball. Yuland runs on and then kicks inside attacking 50. Farrell comes in from the side, knocks the ball away, still in play. As Yadapulti try and clear from half back, mopped up superbly, wet slippery ball, hacked along the boundary line. It will be a lasso free kick and will go the way of Mac Andrew on the centre wing. Down to the boundary, Will.
Injury news for both sides. Lockie Weller won't be returning to the game. He's out with a hamstring. Meanwhile, Lockie Jones has just come back up from the rooms after undergoing an HIA assessment, so we'll keep an eye on him.
That's a big blow for the Suns. Lockie Weller out. Huge news for Gold Coast as Miller with it on centre wing out of side. Gives it back to Andrew. Plays on again by a foot to Bodie Yuland. Standing between right half back and centre half back for the Suns. Gets told to move it on. Gold Coast kicking to the left of our broadcast position in this term. That's not a great kick at all. In fact, it's gone over the top of Collins and then bounced over the boundary line. That's really disappointing. It'll give the power the lasso. Goodness me, Bodie Yuland, after giving him a wrap, Georgiades now finds himself with a free kick, and he has a precise kick towards right half forward, marked there by Lorenz. He'll kick Port inside forward 50. Maybe Horn Francis with a push in the back. No mark taken. It spills to the ground. Umpire circles. Whitlock tried to get it out. Will ball it up right in front of goal. Deep inside forward 50 for Port.
I think you called it right. That was a push in the back.
10 points to lead to Gold Coast. Grab by Horn Francis. Hooks the kick a little too far, stays in, lands in the lap of McKinlay, slaps it back to Georgiades. Chance here for Whitlock, beautifully tackled though, and brought to ground. No free kick, play on. Suns take it towards the boundary line. And the kick will come up towards the wing, the little chip. And it's going out of bounds, so it's going to be a Yadapulti free kick. So mistakes are plenty. Maybe these slippery conditions are starting to tell somewhat. Yadapulti from 80 metres out. As Farrell bombs it long. Vicentini in front. Andrews spoils it away from behind. Close to the boundary line, goes out in the left forward pocket, airport end. It's a 10-point lead only to Gold Coast. The first goal of the second quarter to Yadapulti.
I just got a comment, like, you get the ball, you're shaped to kick, you get tackled, you drop the ball. It's incorrect disposal. It's not play on. It's got to be incorrect disposal. Wasn't knocked out.
Still tough stuff going on inside Port's forward 50. It came to Butters. He snapped around the body. Last man back defensively, Andrew. Mac Andrew takes the mark on the goal line for the Suns. Goes on a hazy, mazy run. The hand pass intercepted. Horn Francis couldn't believe his luck, but then butchers a chance. It was open in front of him from about 40 metres out. Could have taken another 4 or 5 steps if he'd wanted, and puts it to the left-hand side of the big sticks. A minor score when a goal has gone begging. Gold Coast lead cut to 9 points, though. 5.5 gone in the second term.
Back to the wing. Radaglia goes to ground. Walter intercepted cleverly by Yatapulti, but back the other way through the Suns. Tuke Miller, a couple of involvements were clever. He swings a kick to the grandstand side to Andrew, to the running machine Rioli, to Zeke Uland, back to Rioli by hand. Centre wing of Marara, neat chip kick in towards Mac Andrew. Easy passage of the footy by the Suns. Vicentini dropped back onto him. Now he plays on quickly, switches out to the far side. In comes King, can't take the mark. Lombard lurks dangerously. Hacked off the ground by Port. Only as far as Uland, though. In fact, Noble it is. John Noble. He's 70 out from goal. Squares the ball out towards half forward. And Joel Jeffrey will have a shot for goal. He is a thumping kick. He'll kick from about 52 metres, right half forward. And Joel Bowden, half post high, I reckon, straight through the middle.
Well, he's a former Wanderers Football Club junior, and that is the Wanderers Football Club over on that forward pocket. So I actually bumped into his dad today down the street. We didn't talk because I thought, it'd be sick of talking about his son. I'll just keep walking by. But it's lovely to see him playing footy, and the Wanderers supporters who are over on that side will no doubt be riding this home right now.
From 52 out for a 15-point lead, and it's straight through the middle from Joel Jeffrey, and he waves and points to his chest right over to the crowd in the Wanderers' pocket. Wonderful start to the second quarter here by the Suns. After they conceded the opening goal, things are just settling down a bit for them. They're back to a 15-point lead.
Well, I think they were stuffing around with the ball, Clint. They were kicking it across the back line there. They kicked it out of bounds. Mac Andrews doing silly little handballs, almost gave a goal away, and lucky Horn Francis missed it. Finally, Daniel Rioli decided to do something and take the ball inside their forward line and run it in there. They get an opportunity. It got hacked off the ground, as you said, and Jeffrey found himself alone almost in the forward pocket on the rebound, and he kicked beautifully from just outside 50, as I was saying, that you need to be able to kick those goals or at least make the distance. And he leant back nicely, kicked it in front of the Wanderers forward pocket, and I think he gave the too deadly sign to the crowd over there.
Well, back in the middle, the ruck with a telling tap. Witts was able to shovel it forward, though. A big collision. Butters one way, took Miller the other. They're both up and okay. Ricocheted off Burgo, and then he got taken high, according to the officials. All right, Witts coming through. Burgoyne. Jace Burgoyne, rather. Moves it out, showing my age then. On towards Miller. Goes inside forward 50. Here's a chance for Anastasopoulos. Tried the soccer, missed it. Scooped up here by Durden. Snaps with the outside of the right boot and steers it through for a Port goal. Port Adelaide have got their fourth. And the margin is back again to single digits. Gold Coast lead by 9. Port 4-5-29 to Gold Coast 6-2-38. Corey Durden.
Joel's been talking about Jace Burgoyne, another important involvement there from him, but initially it was Zach Butters, the skipper currently for Port Adelaide on field, and the huge contest. He met Tuke Miller early and set the standard to set that scoring opportunity up, and Tommy Anastasopoulos, he'd want that one again. Corey Durden tidying it up for him, but small forward's dangerous at ground level for Yatapulti.
Hasn't been a bad start from Tommy, but he's had an airy there, and that's okay.
8 touches in his debut match. Durden's been a very good player for Port this season. His 10th game, 16 goals, a game in every match so far. Weaving through traffic was Butters, gave it to Drew, and on the chest found Whitlock, who led out from half forward. It's close to the boundary line, 80 from goal. Mac Andrews stands the mark. Kicks inside 50, some holding going on there. Georgiades definitely had the jumper of Collins, and over the top came Oscar Adams to smash it out of bounds.
I'm enjoying watching Sam Collins work on Georgiades. He's doing a great job. Obviously Georgiades is as nimble as they come as the deeper forward, but Collins is covering him well in that aspect and in the aerial and the high ball.
A terrific defender for the Suns. Vicentini back to Sweet this time, works his way to the front of Moyle, comes to Noah Anderson. He's kicked towards the wing, bounces away from King, comes to Graham, shrugs 2 tackles, he's about to be run down, claimed by Butters, holding the ball, and well played by the Yardapulti superstar.
There's no space in AFL football, and if you shrug 2 tackles, you're certainly going to get done if you try and run.
Butters inside forward 50, offhand, Sweet, front position, spilled down. And Anastasopoulos got a kick away into traffic. Still, it's been tough stuff in there. Drew got it back to Sweet, threw it on the boot, tried to curl it around with the outside of the right. He's missed the lot to the left-hand side of the sticks. Free kick to the Suns, right full back. By the way, Pauline Darwin texting in, enjoying the call. The front of the Territory News, story about us getting an AFL team. What's your thoughts? Well, we're more in favour of it than we were after listening to Sean Bowden a bit earlier on, and certainly there's other people in this box that are big fans of getting it potentially the 20th team here in the Territory.
Rowell to Noble, back to Will Powell. He's taken down in a strong tackle, just got his hand to it. They've lifted Yardapulti to Drew on the left boot, but straight down the throat. Well, the ever-reliable Collins, who's down by Georgiades, he didn't appreciate it and in fact concede 50 metres.
And Lauren, you spoke about enjoying watching Collins. I've watched him here the last few years. He is a fantastic player and he controls that back line. He's almost their Goliath.
Well, he's big, but he's also he moves really well. He's got good short steps on him as a key defender. It's very impressive.
Yardapulti have flooded back. Anderson not sure where to go. Flares it out wide to Hewland, who's taken high, and will get a free kick for a push in the face from Richards.
Interestingly, he played a push, didn't play the slap across the face. They're letting it go a bit tonight, I think, the umpires. They haven't been hot on the whistle.
Cody Hewland's had a good game so far, up to 12 possessions. Kicks it inside 50. Walter in from the side, couldn't take the mark. Burgon's been good, tried to squeeze the handball out, couldn't find a teammate. Trying to push his way through is Walter again. Ball slapped down there by Radaglia. Kicked away by Wines, up towards the wing. Marked by Oscar Adams, so impressive on the wing.
Adams on the logo, commentary wing, stamps it to Holman. Okay, after the nasty collision, the head knock he had before. Still out there, gives it to Daniel Rioli, who marks. About 70 from goal, 5 metres in from the boundary at left half forward for the Suns. Makes a couple of steps forward. Looks to measure a kick inside forward 50. Brought to ground by Humphrey. Spilled out though to Jace Burgoyne. Gets a kick around the body but down the throat of Rioli. Plays on immediately by hand. Must have been touched on the way through. To Andrew, to Holman. Hand pass forward. Georgiades got in the way. Stolen back by Rioli. Now to Rao. Kicks the Suns towards full forward. Radaglia. Defensive mark on his chest at full back. He's got it there for the power. The Suns lead is 9 points. 13 gone in the second term.
Yardapulti, almost intercepted by Petrarca. Horn Francis, one-on-one contest. Adams again, knocked away there. Whitlock, good contest. Richards there with Hewland, tried to sock it off the ground, comes back onto the footy, sweeping handball back to the middle, is going to bounce and favour Wines. He sends it back to Drew, to Horn Francis. He's poking little kick is not good, but he follows up and kicks us off the ground. Off to Whitlock. He went himself, could have given it back to Horn Francis. Diving after the footy there was Collins. Coming through as he taken without the footy. Butters play on the call, and it'll be cleared by Noah Anderson, who has a bounce at left half back. He kicks towards the boundary line, just got bumped, and in fact kicks it out of bounds on the full. Back down to the boundary.
The pressure's very, very high at the moment, and you can see the players are starting to glisten, which means I think they're starting to sweat and the ball's getting slippery.
We'll head to Will in just a moment. Farrell runs inboard. He'll take the kick for Port towards full forward. Massive pack up. Andrews off his hands. Spills over the boundary line for... Well, actually across the behind line. What's going on in the back? For a minor score. Will Zwaz downstairs. Will?
Confirming Lockie Jones is out for the rest of the game with a concussion, so he joins Lockie. Weller won't be taking further part in.
Big blow for both sides, really. Jones' robustness will definitely be missed. Berry was clever, kicks in towards the pocket. What a wonderful spot up. Twisted, weaved around onto his left and found Joe Richards, who was recruited from Collingwood to do exactly this, kick goals. He's on the boundary line, 30 metres out. The right pocket for the right footer. He can curl this around and bring the margin back to just 2 points. It's been been a good period from Yardapulti. The scoring end, says Joel Bowden. It's hooking. It's a goal to the Yardapulti. It's a 2-point ball game at Marara. 5-6-36. Gold Coast 6-2-38, going for 10 in a row here at Marara, but they're being tested by Yardapulti.
Well, if you're Josh Carr, Joel, you'd be pretty happy with this quarter. It looked at quarter time that the Suns were going to be overwhelming Yardapulti in this second and just looked so quick in offence. But Yardapulti this whole quarter have just grounded out and looked to be the tougher team. They've slowed the Suns down. They've slowed down their ball movement. I'll need to have a look at the stats around stoppage, but just feels like the work rate of Yardapulti and contested possession has to be going their way in this quarter.
Contested possession and pressure, and on top of that, the Suns have decided to not move the ball forward as quickly as they have been in the previous quarter. They've slowed it down and allowed that pressure to come on them.
Back in the middle. One down here by Moyle. Came to Anderson of the Suns. Back to Moyle. Thumping kick from the centre circles. Deep inside forward 50. Walter stretch. Couldn't mark. Got crashed into by his own teammate in Goulburn. Allowed Radaglia to scoop it up. Caught beyond defensive 50. Rioli up. Couldn't mark it. Spilt it. Was able to gather again. Went by hand for the Suns. Back to Andrew. Stabs it onto the chest of Miller. On the logo. Commentary wing. Went looking for Anderson. Under pressure from Butters. Couldn't mark. Taken though by Rao from left half forward. Kicks the full forward. Walter had 2 to beat. Spills out the back. It's going to be rushed by Farrell across the goal line for a minor score. That margin goes out to now 3 points. 5-6-36 to 6-3-39. Still Gold Coast in front. 17 gone in the second.
Again, teams favour the grandstand side. They bring the ball back into play. Up goes Mac Andrew. Free kick's going to Vicentini of Yardapulti though against Moyle. Waiting for Butters to come past for a handball. Goulburn's running with him. Gives it off to Darcy Byrne-Jones. A spearing ball to Berry. He's got Georgiades running behind. Now he comes out in front of Collins. He pokes it long, drifts back from behind, goes Georgiades up one grab, couldn't take it. The danger man here, quick snap on goal, is through for another one.
McKinlay.
It is McKinlay again. I thought it was Durden, but thank you. It is McKinlay for his second. And a brilliant goal has put Yardapulti in front after the Gold Coast Suns from the second half of the first quarter looked like they were pulling away a little bit. It's been a great second term to the scoring end, the airport end here of Marara. It's 6-6-42 to 6-3-39.
Well, just transition play, getting the ball, moving it fast. The big ruckman took a mark. He waited for his runners to get there. It looked like they're wanting to move the ball quick. And if you move the ball quick, your offense is going to be one out. Now, Collins was able to get back and get Georgiades in the contest, but the ball spills down. McKinlay's able to crumb it. He runs into almost an open goal because they're moving the ball so quickly. And the Suns, conversely, are going a bit slow.
Second goal to McKinlay. Gutted the number of supporters here favouring Port. Look at cheer after McKinlay kicked that second. Gold Coast deep inside forward 50 now. Rushing to ground was Graham, scooped up by Walter, who snaps an immediate response. From about 35 metres out, 45-degree angle to the left. Walter was onto it, snapped a terrific goal. That was spectacular. And off the ball, solid stuff as Graham went up against Alir. They crunched into each other. The ball spilling off that to Walter, who then didn't miss. Gold Coast back in front. Their lead is 3 points again. 19 gone in the second term. Friday night footy on ABC Sport. Our experts, Lauren Arnell and Joel Bowden.
We talk about the athleticism of these guys and what the Territory fans will be able to see tonight. A guy that's 195 centimetres crumbing a forward ball, ground ball like he's 170. It's unbelievable. And that left foot finish from Walter was special. You start to question for Yardapulti with Lockie Jones going down and they're already undersized in that back line. Christian Moraes, of all players for Port Adelaide, is now playing at half back, which will be a bit of a risky play and certainly can create offence, but having to defend in that back half for the rest of the game will be a risk for Yardapulti.
We'll check in a moment on Will Graham with Will Zwar on the boundary line. We might get a chance to do that in a second if we can. Will?
Yeah, Will Graham came off holding his left arm, sort of left shoulder with the trainer. It looks like he might be heading into the cool room with him now.
Away goes Rowell from the middle with the free kick. Long up towards centre half forward. In front was Evans, couldn't take the mark. Walter looking busy again. Walter goes after the footy, has some support there. Grabbed by Lombard. Lombard from the pocket is a centering ball, is magnificent right across the face of goal. Great vision and finds John Noble. 30 metres out, 45-degree angle, left forward pocket.
Fantastic vision to be 20 metres out, tucked right in the pocket to pull it across goal and now give Noble a set shot 30 metres out on a 45-degree angle.
Chance for 2 in a minute and push the lead back out to 9 points. Good period by Yardapulti. They just wouldn't want to go to sleep towards the end of the second quarter. Noble kicks truly. His first for the night. It's the 8th for the Suns, 8-3-51. Yardapulti 6-6-42.
Bit of danger zone now, Joel, for the Suns. He's starting to edge towards that red time, towards the end of the first half. We know the Suns played here and played very well here a week ago. You just start to get a little bit nervous. You need to shore up stoppage. I wonder if they send another number in just to shut down this first half.
And it's come off the back of 2 centre clearances. So Matt Rowell got the first one, and then there's a free kick. And when they go fast, Rowell again, free kick out of the he goes fast and he goes long. There's chaos. Walter's there almost crumbing again. They get an opportunity. The ball bobs out, and then they get a set shot on goal. And Noble kicked that beautifully. I was surprised. Everyone from there's generally nowadays running and snapping it, but he went for the old traditional drop punt. She went straight through the high diddle-diddle.
Early stages, third term at the SCG. Collingwood's lead has been cut back to 15 points by Sydney as Gold Coast immediately go inside their forward 50. Walter has it held to him. Umpire will ball it up. Suns on the attack. They win it down through Moyle. Rowell bursting through. Got a hand pass back to Noble. Gathered well under pressure from Berry. Worked it off to Anderson. 50 out from goal. Kicks in the direction of Holman at left half forward. Scooped it up. Handed it on to Powell. Powell from left half forward. Inside forward 50. Big pack crashing up. No mark taken. Here's Petrarca! Gathers and goals. Christian Petrarca puts his name on the list of Gold Coast goal kickers. And the Suns, they are up and about at the moment. They've now kicked 3 unanswered majors. 9-3-57 the Suns. Their lead is 15 points. Quarter 6-6-42. 23 gone in the second. Friday night footy on ABC Sport. Clint Wilden alongside Rob Cross, our experts Lauren Arnell and Joel Bowden.
Well, it's disappointing if you're a Power fan because they had all the pluck, haven't capitalised in probably the last 12 minutes. The Suns get 3 centre clearances in a row, and then Petrarca, the ball actually went through his legs. He turned around and went to the next contest, gets it, and somehow manufactures a snap on goal from 25 metres out to a little 45-degree angle, and it wobbles through. He's very excited because he's having a big night, and the Suns have just given the poor old Power something to cry about in the last few minutes.
Witts won the tap superbly down to Touk Miller, but his kick was smothered. Butters comes up with the footy, back to Petrarca, busts through, kicks inside 50 again. Is there a chance for another one? They're on fire at the moment, the Suns. Going after it hard was Aliir. Was he held onto by King? Play on the call. Slips out of bounds. Right forward pocket for the Gold Coast Suns. 20 metres around from their goal. They've nudged out to a 15-point lead at the 24-minute mark of the second quarter. 6-6 Yardapulti, 42. 9-3-57 Gold Coast Suns. Going for 10 in a row here at Marara. Toss back in. Moyle pushes his way to the front. Comes down to Yardapulti defender. Out to Whitlock and bounces, and it'll be a lasso free kick to the Suns. So Mac Andrew comes up with it and they go forward once more. Andrew looks inboard. Pokes it to Witts. Barely the 15 metres. He's 80 from goal at right half forward.
He's been okay, Witts.
On the left boot. Kicks in towards the pocket. Who are the Flyers? Moyle is there. Walter's come off for a rest. Where's King? Comes out to Burgoyne of Yardapulti. He clears defensive 50, but it's kicked out of bounds on the full. It's going to come straight back in from the Suns.
Gold Coast to have it. A little group of Suns supporters Well, Jeffrey actually gets told he can take a couple of steps forward here. No, they've changed the decision.
I'm not sure what that's for.
Port. No, absolutely bewildered why they've changed that. So Port will get an opportunity to go through Farrell. Kicks towards centre wing, and Andrew is up. That takes the mark up against Whitlock, just forward of centre wing. Outer side, let's head downstairs to the boundary. Wilswar.
Yeah, can confirm Will Graham has gone into HIA protocols, so he will be off for a little bit of time.
We'll get back to Will in a moment. Oh, long kick inside forward 50. Moyle is out to mark on his chest. Wraps the big arms around it. 45-degree angle to the right. He'll kick from 40 out.
Well, this is the bonus of having Jared Witts as the laid in. Moyles dragged Visentini for the last few minutes on those repeat entries for the Suns. Moyles dragged Visentini as the ruck and forcing him to defend him as a key forward and hold front position, big body. Well played, Ned Moyle.
Looking for 4 unanswered goals here, Gold Coast. They currently lead by 15 points. Ned Moyle has 1 tonight. Kicks from 45 metres out. Goal umpire does not have to move. Moyle's got his second. The Suns have kicked 4 unanswered goals. They've got 10 on the board before half-time. 10-3-63. Port Yatapulti tonight, 6-6-42. The Suns by 21 points, a game-high lead at the 27-minute mark of the second term.
And it's momentum, and it's just shifted. You know, Lauren, you said, it's a bit of red time now, and Port are looking good. And the Power fans are going to be really unhappy because the Suns have just piled on 4 quick goals. I think it's all out of centre clearance. Even though there was a reversal of a free kick we thought was going to come back in, too much of the ball inside the forward half for the last 10 minutes. They've capitalised on that with 4 goals, and here they are, 10 goals 3 going into half time. This is no good for the Power. They need to change something and change it up now.
6 of the last 7 clearances to Gold Coast. Strong tackling in the middle. Needs something to happen here, Yatapulti. Zeke Hewland back to Will Powell. Terrific player off half-back, finds Petrarca, who's had a marvellous second quarter. Petrarca 70 from goal at right half-forward. He's been held up. Drew stands the mark. Too far out for Petrarca to score. He's got Took Miller in close. Too cute the kick. Comes off hands. It's still bouncing around. Miller a chance to lay the tackle here. Handball over the top to Berry was good. Sweeping ball back towards the boundary line. Yatapulti have the numbers, but swarming red jumpers. As Lombard comes up with the footy now. Back to Noah Anderson. Go back if he wants. Has time to wheel around and get away from a couple of Yatapulti players and kicks beautifully up towards half forward. Had a couple of players to choose from. And it's going to be a 50-metre penalty. It was decided that the player didn't stand on the mark, and this will be a certain goal to Zeke Hewland.
I don't like this. I don't like it,
No.
Rob. A 50-metre penalty. We couldn't see any infringement if he didn't stand on the mark. If this changes the course of a final, or heaven forbid a grand final, there will be some very, very unhappy people, and they won't just be for the opposing team.
For 5 goals in a row to the Gold Coast Suns, and for a 27-point lead closing in on half-time, Hewland bangs it through from the goal square. It's all the Suns. And after Yatapulti threatened up to halfway through this second quarter, the Suns have taken control.
Well, if you're a Yatapulti supporter, you're just begging for this half-time siren. And the Suns impressive, and I think it does show all the things we spoke about pre-game and the time they've had up here in the territory. This red time in the back end of the first half, we've seen players go down. We've seen Will Graham, Lockie Weller. They're making the most of the opportunity.
It's the stand rule again, and I'm sorry, but the monitor wasn't good enough for me to see who the player was. But the player's run past where the mark was.
The dummy run?
Yep.
Yeah.
Kept continuing on the run, hasn't stopped the mark. And I agree. I don't like the rule. The umpires called that absolutely correctly. To the letter of the law, they've called that correctly. But, yeah, we've seen a number of times now where it just seems to be such a massive infringement for someone who's not in the marking contest. Kick out of the middle from Port. Goes inside their forward 50. Spills down. Here is Hewland. Gets it away again to Petrarca. Now to Noble. Arches the back and hand passes to Rioli for the Suns left half back. Hand pass was high for Noble. Had to leap and then broke the attempted tackle. Did well of Watkins. kicks towards the logo. Certainly with a height advantage there against Burgoyne was Witts. He used it and he took the mark. Flares it inboard to the centre circles where Anderson marks and plays on, wheeling around to his right, gives it to Miller, measures the kick inside forward 50, Lombard marks. Right in front of goal and 45 out.
Witts has been a very important part of the last few minutes and the goals that have come for the Suns. And if you're Jordan Sweet, you're hanging your head. He's only been on the ground a few minutes. That defensive effort, lack of defensive effort against Witts and just ball watching has not helped in this build-up. And Suns finding their speed of ball movement, and it's leading to goals.
Signed a 3-year contract extension this week. Leo Lombard, a 19-year-old, 1 goal tonight. This is not going to be a second. It's missed the lot out to the right-hand side. Let's head downstairs. Will Zwars on the boundary.
Suns bench now down to 3. Will Graham ruled out with concussion.
So that might be the chance for Yardapulti in the second half. They need something to go their way. They've conceded 6 goals to 4 in this quarter after a neat run halfway through the term, netted 3 goals in a row of their own. But since then, the last 5 have gone the way of the Gold Coast Suns as the ball trickles out of bounds.
And it's slowed down a bit just this last 30 seconds. 31 minutes gone in the second quarter. There's a few hands on hips and a few hands on knees. The players are starting to feel the pinch.
Witts has been terrific up against Sweet. They wouldn't want to concede another one late in this second quarter. Butters comes up with a footy. Streams forward, kicks inside 50. Over the top of Durden. Oh, Adams, did he take that? Not paid. Fights on at ground level. Comes to Rioli, who mopped up beautifully, gave him the option. Back to Anderson, who just weaves so easily away from traffic. He hasn't done a lot tonight, Anderson, but everything he does is so classy. Busting his way through Alia. Gets boot to ball just. And favoured by a lucky kick in the lap of his teammate. Comes to Georgiades. Cruel bounce, though, into the lap of Collins. Handball to Andrew. Back to Anderson for another possession. About to be run down. Whitlock couldn't get to him. And Anderson kicks up towards the wing. Little nudge underneath came from Alia. Burgoyne gives a handball off to Wines. Up towards centre half forward. Durden had to wait underneath it. Adams comes to Berry, who's been one of Yardapulti's better players. Back to Adams. Back to Noble. They go backwards towards the top of the goal square through Mac Andrew. They've got plenty of options. Now he's been corralled a little bit by Whitlock, but he's got Hewland, who makes space in the right back pocket.
Bodie Hewland has it. Looks to soak up a moment or two. Now we'll get told to move it on. This little run down the boundary side, and then from the right back pocket, kicks to the outer wing. Alir up, had 2 bites at it and couldn't complete the mark. Ball hits the deck. Shovel down for the power to Burgoyne. Gets it on to Moraes, and he's tackled as the siren sounds for half-time. It's a half that Gold Coast ran away with late. They kicked the final 5 goals of that term, and they head into the half-time break. 27 points the good. 11-3-69 to Yardapulti's 6-6-42. For the Suns, Ned Moyles got 2. The other goal kickers Noble, Petrarca, Walter, Lombard, Jeffrey, Graham, King and Goulburn. While for Yardapulti, Berry, Georgiades, McKinlay with a couple, Richards and Durden, the goal kickers. Gold Coast led by 16 points at quarter time. They have stretched that lead to 27 at the main break. Injury news to update you again before we hear from our experts in Lauren Arnell and Joel Bowden. Big problems, particularly for the Suns. Lockie Weller out. Will Graham out for the rest of the game. For Yardapulti, Lockie Jones is out. So 2 Lockies missing, one from either side. Will Graham missing from Gold Coast, which, if anything, means Will Lorenz should look after himself for the second half. Let's get the thoughts of our experts here at Marara on a Friday night. Sir Doug Nicholls round, the first of the 2, Joel Bowden and Lauren Arnell.
Well, you'd split the quarter in half, wouldn't you? And if you're a Yardapulti supporter, you'd be pretty happy with that first stage of the second quarter. They completely shifted the momentum in the game, slowed the Suns' offence down and made the most of their opportunities. And then the Suns just clicked into gear and were overwhelming. I thought their skipper was exceptional. 6 clearances in that quarter and 4 of them centre bounce clearances. He's had the 15 disposals to half-time, Anderson, but just doesn't seem like Port Adelaide have the answers. And Suns, once they get going, they've just got so many stars that impact both in the air and at ground level, Joel.
Yeah, I genuinely thought Port's pressure in the first half of that quarter was giving them the opportunity, but also that the Suns were playing slow. They were coming sideways. It was like they wanted to play in front of the grandstand because that's where the crowd is, and over on the hill there's not that many people. And they're playing slow, they're kicking it out of bounds, they're mucking around. Mac Andrews was sort of wandering out of half-back, sort of handballing it, getting it chopped off, and it was like, you've got to play fast, Suns. You've got to go quick. That way you can get the ball inside 50. The Power were just dominant almost. They just didn't capitalise enough.
And that was almost the moment that you mentioned, the Mac Andrew handball to Horne-Francis, and Horne-Francis a little bit lazy on the attempt that ended up in a behind, and then it was almost like then the Suns clicked into gear and it was see you later, 5 goals straight.
And Josh Carr would be pleased with the first half of that quarter.
Yeah.
And then he'd be so disappointed that they weren't able to arrest the tide, because momentum in footy happens, right? Teams get a bit of a run on, but they can't allow 4 or 5 centre clearances in a row. Like, that's 6 goals in about 12 minutes. You've got to stop that, because you can't come back with all the energy that you've expended. You can't come back and try and arrest that time and time again. The second half, they're going to get fatigued. They started to have hands on hips, hands on knees. That last contest on the wing when the siren went, they all sort of hunched over because it's 28 degrees. Now, I think it's quite cool and beautiful, but for players who are coming from Adelaide and even coming from the Gold Coast, it's really warm for them. And the Gold Coast have got that tiny little advantage over those from Adelaide, where it's a bit windy and it's a bit wet during this period of time of the year.
Casual check of the weather conditions, by the way. It's only 12 degrees warmer here than it is in Adelaide.
In Adelaide. And as Wheels Vast said, it's 72% humidity.
Yeah.
You know, we don't mind 72% humidity as locals, but holy, these guys, they are not used to that at all. And as I said before the call, the game started in the call, Suns play these conditions really well, and they're kicking the ball longer. I don't know why they stopped kicking the ball forward there at one stage. They were kicking it longer and out of bounds at some stage in that second quarter. They use the ball well, they use the ball longer, and it just becomes, I'm going to use the term again, a territory game.
And a simple game of footy too. And probably in that first half of the quarter, we mentioned Port had the ascendancy. It felt like almost like if they can force stoppage, things will work out for them. But then Suns just clicked into gear, and it was their mids that took responsibility and ownership. You look at, I mentioned Anderson had 15. He's actually up to 19 disposals. Tuke Miller, 17. John Noble's been exceptional from half back. And Petrarca got going as well with that goal in 16. But if Darcy Byrne-Jones is your leading possession winner at half time in Darwin, you got to have a hard word. I think if you're Stuart Dew, you're having a hard word with your mids, because you have to be better at centre bounce. If you're going to let 5 straight goals through, and it's their mids that are doing the damage, and coming out the front of stoppage, it's just not good enough when you got the guys in there for Port Adelaide. Yes, on paper, the Suns mids, most people would agree that they're better on paper, but there's enough good players in there for Port. Butters, Horne-Francis, Willem Drew's very experienced. Ollie Wines is not having his best night. These conditions are not built for an Ollie Wines. But you've got to be better than that and slow down any team when that many goals are coming from centre bounce.
We did wonder, the likes of Rao being thrown in there, what sort of difference that would make. And you're talking about other players who were standing taller. And they've been dominating in there after they did struggle in that, particularly that first quarter, the Suns against St Kilda last week. They're absolutely smashing the Power at the moment out of centre bounce. Collingwood's lead has been whittled away to just 9 points. About 5 minutes before three-quarter time at the SCG. So at one stage it looked like the Magpies were going to romp away with that game. The Swans have fought back. Collingwood 8-12-60 to 7-9-51. Quite a remarkable turnaround. So we'll keep you up to date with that game taking place as we speak at the SCG. The Magpies lead now just 9 points, with about 5 and a bit minutes to play before three-quarter time. In the A-League men's semi-finals in the second half, it's not good news for Adelaide United. Apologies to Reds fans listening in. Auckland FC lead 3-0 late in the game. So 4-1 on aggregate. Logan Rogerson scoring a third for Auckland in the 86th minute. So that will send them through to the A-League Men's Grand Final next week. They'll play the winner of Sydney and Newcastle tomorrow. So sympathies. Put your teeth in, Clint. Got it out there eventually to Adelaide United supporters listening here on ABC Sport. But wherever you are on ABC Local Radio, Sport Digital and streaming on ABC Listen, this is Friday Night Footy. Let us pause now and take the latest from the ABC newsroom.
ABC News with Noni Edwards. Tax reform has emerged as a major battleground after this week's federal budget, with both major parties outlining competing plans for cost of living relief. In his budget reply speech, opposition leader Angus Taylor promised changes, including indexing income tax brackets to inflation and repealing Labor's negative gearing reforms. Tax expert Kayleen Hubbard from KPMG says the opposition's plan to index income tax brackets is more permanent and more flexible.
It is harder to unwind politically, but it does prevent what the opposition leaders referred to as, stealth tax increases via inflation, and it's much closer to a rules-based tax system. Obviously, the government proposed the Working Australians tax offset. The difference there, I suppose, is that it is at that $250 level.
6 passengers from the cruise ship struck by deadly hantavirus outbreak have arrived in Perth and have been transported to the nearby quarantine centre. Michael Tetlow has the latest from Bullsbrook.
Behind me, those 6 evacuees will be settling in for a night, finally back on home soil, but they are going to be here for 3 weeks of quarantine, and it's going to be a fairly lonely old 3 weeks for them because they can't socialise with anyone, not even each other. So that is the situation for them. They landed here in Perth at the Bullsbrook RAF Pearce Air Base, which is about a 9-minute drive away. They arrived late this morning at WA time. They were tested for hantavirus. They have all been cleared. So from here, they will be tested on a regular basis to make sure they are not infected.
Health experts are urging people in the Northern Territory to get booster shots amid a growing outbreak of diphtheria. 1 person has died and more than 100 cases have now been recorded. The disease was once a major cause of death before vaccines were introduced in the 1940s. Central Australian Aboriginal Congress Chief Medical Officer John Boffer says immunity can fade over time, particularly if people haven't received a booster in recent years.
Young people, even if they got their booster at 12, we need to be boosting young people and adults if it's been more than 5 years since they've had their vaccine. And that's become really clear. And even 10 years is not enough. So the vaccine is tried and proven. It's safe, it's effective, it works, it'll prevent death.
4 students have been taken to hospital after a suspected drug overdose at a Central Coast high school. Emergency crews were called to Brisbane Water Secondary College in Umina at about 11 a.m. 7 ambulances responded and assessed 15 students whose ages are yet to be confirmed. Central Coast Superintendent Paul Edmonds says early intervention by the school helped the students.
It's limited information I can give you just to protect the children involved, but there is a drug overdose of MDMA. There's 3 patients that transported to hospital in a very stable condition. The school reacted very quickly, put their safety plan in place, called us early.
The Palestinian National Authority says a 15-year-old boy has been killed by Israeli soldiers in the occupied West Bank. The Israeli army says Fahad Zidan Owais was throwing stones at Israeli vehicles on a road. Elsewhere, the Palestinian Ministry of Religious Affairs has condemned the burning of a mosque north of Ramallah by Israeli settlers, describing it as an act of cowardly terrorism. To sport now, Hawthorn AFL coach Sam Mitchell's welcomed the extra attention on 2 of the game's star small forwards ahead of the side's clash with Melbourne at the MCG tomorrow. Supporter bays at either end of the ground will be renamed the Pickett Pocket and Wizard Bay after Keziah Pickett from the Demons and Watson at the Hawks. Hawks fans will be donning wizard hats while D's supporters are being given caps to wear. Mitchell says football is all about entertainment.
I think as a fan, you want to go to the footy, you want to have a great time. Now, my job is to put on a great game and make sure that we play a brand of football that people want to watch, and I think Stephen King's doing the same. So I suspect it'll be a good game of footy to watch, and if the fans can be more engaged in it, then that creates more energy at the stadium, then I think that helps everybody.
And the Prime Minister has backed Delta Goodrem after she took Australia through to the 2026 Eurovision Grand Final. In a dazzling show of light, the Aussie icon performed Eclipse wearing a dress adorned with more than 7,000 Swarovski crystals. Australia is now one of the favourites to win the world's largest music competition, which celebrates its 70th anniversary this year. Anthony Albanese says she has his support.
I think she's a ripper. She's so proud. I'll say this about Delta Goodrem. She's at the stage of her career. She doesn't need to do this at all. She's doing this because she wanted to represent Australia. The Australian government supported her.
This is ABC News.
Guy Montgomery is back with a new assistant.
Sam Campbell. I'll take the job. What is the job?
The new season of Guy Montgomery's Guy Mont Spelling Bee. Wednesday nights on ABC TV and ABC iView.
On ABC Local Radio, Sport Digital, and on ABC Listen. This is Sir Doug Nicholls Round with ABC Sport.
Joe Berry is right in front at the airport end. He pops it through. Port with the first of the second term. They cut the Suns' lead to 10 points in the opening 50 seconds of this quarter. Here's a chance for Anastasopoulos. Tried the soccer, missed it. Scooped up here by Durden. Snaps with the outside of the right boot and steers it through for a Port goal.
Joe Richards is on the boundary line, 30 metres out. It's hooking. It's hooking. It's a goal to the Atapulti. It's a 2-point ball game at Marara. Walter goes after the footy, has some support there, grabbed by Lombard. Lombard from the pocket is a centering ball, is magnificent right across the face of goal. Great vision and finds John Noble. Back out to 9 points. Noble kicks Truly. His first for the night. Holman at left half forward, scooped it up, handed it on to Powell. Powell from left half forward, inside forward 50, big pack crashing up, no mark taken. Here's Petrarca! Gathers and goals. Ned Moyle has one tonight. Kicks from 45 metres out. Goal umpire does not have to move. Moyle's got his second. The Suns have kicked 4 unanswered goals. They've got 10 on the board before half-time.
This is Sir Doug Nicholls Round on ABC Local Radio, Sport Digital, and on ABC Listen.
It's been a terrific contest here at Marara. Clint Wilden with you for ABC Sport alongside Rob Cross, Lauren Arnell and Joel Bowden. But I do have to bring you up to date with what's happening at the SCG. The Sydney Swans, they've hit the lead after trailing by, at half-time by 21 points to Collingwood, but it was more in that second quarter. The Sydney Swans have absolutely stormed back into this game, and they're up now by 5 points, about 60 seconds from three-quarter time. 9-11-65 Sydney to 8-12-60 Collingwood. So that's a little bit more what we were expecting in this game. We thought we might get 2 major upsets to start the round after Geelong were far too good for Brisbane last night. We talk a lot about the jumpers that teams wear in the Sir Doug Nicholls round. Every team has their own jumper and they're fantastic. By the way, we were just watching some of Michael Magic McLean, the 2026 honoree, being taken around the ground on the back of a car. But I think it's worth just touching on both the Yardabulti Power, as they are in Sir Doug Nicholls round, and Gold Coast's jumpers. And Rob Cross has done a deep dive into all of those. Rob, tell us a bit about both of them.
Yeah, look, there's some great information on the AFL website. The Gold Coast Suns jumper was designed by a Combermary artist called Lan Lavinge, and they didn't write things down. They spoke through storytelling, spoke through song and dance, and that's what most of them are doing every day, he says, sharing those stories. And the artwork depicts the Combermary Dreamtime story of creation in Gilligal, which is Burleigh Heads, which is a central place for the Combermary people, and the same land several Suns talents actually grew up playing junior football and currently live on. And Lavinge describes that Jabreen rests at Gilligal, his rocky fingers focus skyward, overseeing the creatures, land, ocean and waterways of their country, the place they know as the Gold Coast. The Combermary people, the saltwater people, the oyster people, especially the Lavinge family, are represented by the series of coloured oval shapes layered and placed central to the hand of Jabreen, their creation being, the energy of the sun at its centre. To the west, the Celestial Fire sits high, surrounded by fearless Gold Coast Suns warriors who are showered by the light and the love of their sun and spirit of place. And I love this. The sand goanna slowly meanders across the shifting sands of beautiful Kurrajee on South Stradbroke Island, leaving a clear and distinct trail as he moves from place to place alongside the pathways and journeys of many who now call the Gold Coast home. And on the jumper, names of past and present Suns feature in the design: Jai Farah, Joel Jeffrey, Ben Long, Daniel Rioli and Jamara Ugle-Hagan.
Talking about dominance at centre bounce here, have a look at some of these numbers in Sydney. Brodie Grundy's had 29 hit-outs. Oscar Steen is off with a knee injury at the moment, so you can forgive him for only having 5. Buller with 3. But hit-outs to advantage, Grundy with 10. First possessions, Grundy with 18. Absolutely destroying Collingwood at the moment. That's after the Magpies kicked the first 5 goals of the game. The Swans have kicked 9 of the next 12. They've kicked the past 4 to lead by 6 points.
The Yatapulti jumper was designed by a Ghana elder and former player, Uncle Mickey Kamatpi O'Brien, and it's a reflection and symbol of club connection and unity. His design reflects the meaning of Yatapulti, with Yata translating to place or land and Pulti meaning sleep or dead, which brings to life the significance of the area through traditional Ghana storytelling. The artwork draws on cultural storytelling methods long practiced by Ghana people who share stories across artefacts, landscapes and their bodies through ochre dance, play and ceremony. Striking teal and white ochre lines form a central part of the design, with the teal representing the waters of the Port River as well as the surrounding peninsula and coastlines. The white ochre depicts the landscapes of Mudlanga, the nose of the Lefevre Peninsula, along with the footprints of the Tanta, the red kangaroo, and its spiritual connection to the landscape of Adelaide and South Australia. 5 detailed Ghana shields running down the centre of the Guernsey represent Uncle Mickey's own family and the ancestors of the Ghana people who were laid to rest in and around the area, adding another layer of cultural and spiritual significance. Along one side of the Guernsey, a series of fish and mangroves tell the story of when mangroves would leach toxins into the Port River, paralysing the fish and making them easier to catch. On the opposite side, intricate outlines of birds and footprints represent local and migratory birds who would rest in the area overnight, reinforcing the meaning of Yatapulti as a place of rest. And if you look closely, this is what I like. I was actually so tempted to buy one of these jumpers out of the merchandise stand before the game, even though I'm a Carlton supporter. If you look closely, you'll see there's a magpie to add another connection back to the club itself. So there's a little hidden feature with all these other birds. Down on the bottom right-hand side is a magpie. And the designer, Uncle Mickey, says, when you understand culture, coming to know a place isn't just being told about the place. It's about connecting, searching, finding and looking. That's what the jumper does. It encourages people to look deeper into the design and discover the meaning, the symbols and their connections to those animals, particularly the birds, and also the elements of Yatapulti.
I love the stories behind the jumpers.
They're great, aren't they?
Yeah, they really are. Thanks for that, Rob Cross, and well done to afl.com.au for telling the stories about the deepest significance in between or behind the designs that we see across the Sir Doug Nicholls rounds. Jamara Ugle-Hagan was signing a few autographs for fans. Certainly, we were told he was out with an ankle problem, and from the vision that we saw on the big screen here, the right ankle is heavily strapped. He was the late out, allowing Jared Witts to come in, and that's been a very useful inclusion for the Suns. Third term underway. Rob Cross with you on ABC Sport.
What have Yatapulti got? They've got a strong tackle to open the second half, as Noble is taken down strongly there by Lorenz. So no doubt a stinging message from Josh Carr. Moyle won the tap over the top of Sweet. Butters jarred the ball free, came to Drew. Yatapulti go forward, kicking to the Michael Long centre end. Out came Collins, dropped the chest mark. Brighter start, but Suns are up to it so far. Some strong tackling. Little handball is good. Quick shot on goal, around the corner, up towards the top of the goal square. But no chance there, Corey Durden, the much taller Mac Andrew Marks in defence.
Much taller. I think he's twice his size.
It's probably a very fair shout, actually, from Lauren Arnell as it comes to Adams. Oscar Adams with it. He's marked it at right half back. Boots go back and stand on the defensive 50-metre arc. Andrew runs by and receives the hand pass. Gets a hand pass and bounces awkwardly for Noble. Didn't sit for him. Bounced off Farrell. Ricocheted away. Chance again for the Suns to build up here. Anderson kicks long to right half forward. Good mark. Evans back there for the power. And he'll stand at left half back. Just looked inboard for a moment for Port. Vaughan Francis offered something short. That's ignored. And the kick has been smothered. Well done there by Humphrey. Split out to Holman. Suns with it now through Noble. Kicks in the direction of Humphrey. And he marks. 47 out from goal. 45-degree angle to the right.
Well, Humphrey is one I was looking forward to watching tonight. He had a very quiet first half, and that's the way to get involved. A defensive effort, very disciplined on Logan Evans, the spoil of that kick, and turn around and beat him out the back again. He's a clever player, Bailey Humphrey, and I expect him to finish this one.
Got the Mattingly sideburns, for those who understand the Simpsons reference.
I think they're a bit long, don't you think, Clint?
Just cut those sideburns off, Mattingly. He's cut them off. Humphrey goes for goal, and he's missed the right-hand side. It's a savage haircut, by the way. No real concern about all of that. Just a minor score to the right-hand side. I think we need to go downstairs to the boundary. Wills are.
John Noble looking a little bit ginger. He still took that last kick, as you saw, but was called to the bench, and he waved the tray. Still out there now.
And he's about to kick another football. That one's no discomfort, it seems. And a beautiful kick towards the pocket. And Walter in front takes a very strong mark. He flew often in the first half without too much success. Big Jed Walter. That time a very clean grab. And in fact, that is just his second mark for the game. And he'll line up for his second goal. Close to the boundary line, 40 metres out. He's a huge talent. Burgoyne stands the mark. Walter kicks. He kicks superbly and squeezes it through for the first goal of the second half. It goes the Suns' way, 2 to Walter, and the margin gets extended to 34 points. 3 minutes gone, third quarter.
Well, Asava Radigalia spent a bit of time playing Samford and the Magpies to start this year, and he's just out-positioned by Jed Walter. Much younger player, but really clever positioning down the line, anticipating early that re-entry was coming. Nice mark, very nice finish, and as we've spoken about a bit tonight, such a raw and exciting talent, but learning how to finish his work.
He's very strong, he's very powerful, and that was delicate though. That is a tough pocket to kick goals from. I think one of the best goals I've ever seen, Rob Cross, was Ross Tungatulum in that pocket, the Tiwi legend. But Jed Walter has delicately eased that through and threaded the needle beautifully.
Thrown up in the middle. Moyle got the hand to it. And Francis looked to work it out towards Drew, but stolen well by Anderson. Stopped it in its tracks, gathered and kicked towards centre half forward. Radigalia worked Walter out from underneath it. Came down to Humphrey though, then to Rowell, the run of Rowell who kicks towards goal, stretching for it. Now, Alir is appealing that it's touched. The umpire says no, goal. Alir immediately turned to say, I've touched that. Interesting to see what the ARC will say. They will check it, but Rowell going through, gathered it beautifully and then kicked truly. Gold Coast now with 7 straight goals. 13-4-82 to Port, 6-6-42 out to a 40-point lead.
And Clint, if we look to our right, we can see Greg Swan, who's up here from the AFL. He is the head of football of the AFL. I wonder if he's sweating on this. Let's see if he pulls his phone out of his pocket very, very shortly to get the call that the ARC, score review. The ARC is in place.
So it's a fingertip, if that, the middle finger of Alir. Does it bend back enough? I think they're going to say it has. The ARC has had a look, and they're calling it a behind. Alir immediately, for whatever that's worth, said it was.
And Greg Swan just sat down. He looks a little bit more relaxed.
Immediately found where he was in the grandstand too, the cameras. So, just the minor score. Change that, what you've got in your books. 12-5-77 Gold Coast. Port 6-6-42. It's just a 35-point lead to the Suns.
And Raoul's deprived of his first goal of the season. Doesn't kick a lot of goals, does he, Raoul? This is his 115th game. He's only kicked 35 goals. Not really a goal-kicking midfielder. Here's Anderson. He's got better as the game's gone on. Could have been penalised there, but it was deemed that his handball was effective. In the King direction, couldn't complete the mark. Good pressure came from Alir. Strong tackling from Goulburn, who's had a tidy evening. And there'll be a ball up 30 metres out from the Suns' goal. King to the airport end.
And Rao hadn't been prolific tonight, but he's just getting into his work slowly.
Sweet. Grabs it out of the ruck, straight down the throat of Bodie Hewland, who waits courageously with Georgiades coming the other way, and he marks 55 out from goal. He's a pretty thumping kick, Bodie Hewland. He's kicking to the scoring end. I'm going to back him. I'm 1 from 1 so far with Joel Jeffrey in the second quarter. I reckon Bodie's got this in him. He's a wonderful talent. This will be his first goal of the season. In fact, it'll only be his second goal in AFL football. Hewland from about 56 metres out. He's looked confident from the moment he's taken it. He runs around, gives it everything. It's carrying pretty close to the line. It's gone all the way. Bodie Hewland brings up the 13th goal from the Suns. His first goal for the season, just his second in his career, and the margin is out to a dangerous 41 points.
Well, Rob Cross called it. Knew the player well. He was well outside 50, but he lined him up, and he has carried the journey beautifully. That is a sensational kick down to the scoring end, or the airport end as we might call it. The Suns have skipped away. Power fans are not going to be happy.
No, I think the Suns are just looking so dominant now, and it was such a nice finish. I love the way the Hewland boys kick the footy. It's very nice to watch, but for Port Adelaide, not so much. It doesn't look like they have many answers to this Suns outfit, and it's starting in the midfield. The mids are getting beaten. Every single one of them are beaten out of, they're losing the initial centre bounce, and then the lack of work rate and the amount of walking that's coming out of that when the Suns in their forward half is not at standard.
Another graduate of the Gold Coast Academy, Bodie Hewland. They win it out of the middle once more. The Suns through Petrarca out to Noble, who marks on the commentary wing. Pops it short to Jeffrey. And Jeffrey back for a moment to Noble.
And Jeffrey's out of the NT Academy. We'll take him.
Nothing immediately presents itself. Kicks into the right forward pocket. 2-on-2 battle. Radigalea was able to get the fist in there, punching it through the hands of Moyle and over for a boundary throw in. Right forward pocket, about 25 out from the Suns' goal. They have now kicked 7 unanswered goals, Gold Coast. And the umpire unfurls, front position sweet. Moyle slapped it down, went to Walter, couldn't get it, came out to Burgoyne, hurried kick. Can get it cleanly. Eventually players will dive on top of this again, and Lombard's affecting the tackle that'll wrap up Evans, and a ball up again, still in the right forward pocket for the Suns. Sweet took clean possession. Got a hand pass away. They'll look to move it out towards Berry. He's got it at left half back. Oh, not a great kick at all, and been chopped off and intercepted beautifully by Powell. And he has it for the Suns on the commentary wing. Gold Coast in control on the scoreboard. They're out to a 41-point lead. 9 minutes gone into the third.
Great hands by Powell. It was coming very quickly. And he's kicked those off the hands in the forward 50 for the Suns. So boundary throw in. Suns deep into attack about 30 metres around from their goal. 13-5 to 6-6. Scoreless so far in the third quarter, Yatapulti. Moyle. Sweet front position. And there's going to be another ball up. The Port player there was tackled. That was Evans. Sweet. Looking for his teammate in Drew. Evans goes without it. Moyle clever from the pocket. Walter handballs back, intercepted by Burgoyne, and he seeks the sanctuary of the boundary line and gets it. So under enormous pressure now, Yatapulti. The Suns are turning the screws with a 41-point lead. 10 minutes gone, third quarter.
Boundary umpire will unfurl again. Right forward pocket for Gold Coast. Sweet got it down. Long kick from Evans, goes up the middle, still inside their defensive 50 here, Port, where it lands. Richards couldn't take it. Petrarca goes out after it and then has to affect the tackle to lock it in. Underneath that was McKinlay. Ball up again, still at right half forward. Sweet got there and won it down. Robo by Petrarca to Anderson. Got a hand pass away beautifully to Humphrey. Was able to ride the tackle, spun, and then got a hand pass away to Noble, who misses everything to the right-hand side from about 49 metres out, deep in the right forward pocket. So out of bounds on the full. Radigalea will have the free kick at left full back for the Power. The Swans lead, by the way, at the SCG. 6 points now over Collingwood. Still about 14 minutes to play in that game.
And good to see John Noble doesn't seem to be affected anymore by that foot injury. He's quite a deal of discomfort for about 30 seconds, 5 minutes or so ago. Could barely put any weight on it. So maybe just twisted it slightly and it's come good, which is a good sign. He's had a great night for the Suns. Boundary throw in. 80 metres around from the Suns' goal. Butters went without it. Wines to Drew. Drew strongly tackled by Rowell. He's not going anywhere. The umpire will come in and ball it up. So Rowell doing what we know he can do so well. Not a lot of possessions tonight, just 11. Always strong around the man with the footy. Berry wraps up Noble. And we'll have another ball up. So stagnant period of play just at the moment. 11 and a half minutes gone, third quarter. It's the Suns leading Yatapulti by 41 points. Wines kicks the ball up towards half forward over the head of Whitlock. He runs onto the footy. I don't think he'll have the pace to beat Mac Andrew, though. Andrew wrestles him off the footy, gives time for Hewlin to come and mop up, then lays a Shepherd. Jeffrey's got a clear path. He kicks up towards the wing. Moyles there. Witz is at the back of the pack. Couldn't take the mark. Slapped down there by Ratugolea. Breaks through the Moyle tackle. Butters, who just got rid of Rowell. Tapped over the top by Sweet. Only as far as Noble. Comes to Witz. Straight back to Moyle, who's in trouble. Tapped down towards McKinlay. Now Rowell again. McKinlay wraps Rowell up in a strong tackle. A bit of his own medicine there. The umpire said no prior. Have a ball up 29 centimetres away from the boundary line on the centre wing.
Rucks had a go at it. Spills down. Probably the more telling one was Witts, but it came out to the other 28s. And Drew kicks long towards left half forward. Andrew makes the defensive mark for the Suns. Sends it back inside his defensive 50. Powell will go short again to Bodie Hewland. Spot up Rioli. Rioli moves it on again. A fumble there from Zeke Hewlin. Had time to regather. Kicks down the line. Attacking the football king. Couldn't mark it. Spilled to Humphrey, though. Swept the hand pass inboard. Lombard couldn't gather the slippery footboard. Spilled away to Ratugolea. Under pressure from Petrarca. Did well. Was able to move it off to Moraes. Has it for Port. Kicks back in the direction of Richards. He marks at just between right half back and centre wing commentary side. Chance for Yatabolti to build up again. They need something and they need it soon, the Power.
The energy's been sucked out of the crowd just at the moment as Richards kicks inside 50. Whitlock at the front of the pack. Powell for the Suns. Hamels to Holman. Now, usual position of the back pocket, normally across half forward. Gives it off to Anderson, who walks his way into his kick. Had plenty of time and bombs it long back up towards the wing. Taken there by Moraes. Darcy Byrne-Jones will send it back inside attacking 50. Scooped up there by Witts. Beautifully gathered there nonchalantly by Anderson. Comes there to Miller, who received from Lombard. He's taken down in a strong tackle from Drew. Here's a chance for Yatapulti. It's Anastopoulos. Kicks up towards full forward. Durden is there. Hands and knees goes Collins, and he's got support everywhere. The Suns will break, and up towards the wing on the bounce, Moyle. And Vicentini, that might be a head-high tackle. It's the umpire's going to come in. I thought he put his head down. It could have infringed, but the umpire will say no, ball it in on the wing.
Port having repeat entries inside 50, but what's happening now is they're trying something different around stoppage. They're sending a forward up, and they've got +2 at stoppage, which leaves a spare down the line for the Suns, and they just can't get going, Port Adelaide, inside 50.
See, they're just lurking there, the Suns. The ball is one. Bodie Hewlin playing that role at the moment that Lauren Arnell told you about. It was off hands and over the boundary line for another throw-in. See the Suns players, Anderson, as he comes off the ground, really taking some deep breaths in these hot and humid conditions. Witts won it down for Gold Coast on centre wing. Ball ricochets out the side to Farrell eventually for the Power. Then to Drew. Kicks Yatapulti towards centre half forward. Flying was Powell. Couldn't mark. Came down again towards Yatapulti. They tried to bust it on to Durden. He got tackled, lost it. Andrew had it. He got tackled holding the ball.
Good decision up. He got tackled. He threw it straight up in the air. He's now complaining. You've got to kick it or handball it when you get tackled. You can't throw it straight up in the air.
Ewan McKinlay decides to hand it off and not have a shot. He gives it to Farrell. That is a thumping kick from Farrell. Much needed for Port Adelaide. Yatapulti at long last end a run of what was 7 unanswered goals for Gold Coast. Farrell with a monstrous kick. 13-5-53, 13-5-83, the Suns. Port 7-6-48. Gold Coast lead cut to 35 points at the 16-minute mark of the third.
We mentioned what's happening at stoppage, and obviously Port Adelaide were getting smashed in the second part of that second quarter around stoppage. So they've sent another number inside, and so they're winning stoppage so far in this third quarter. But up until this one, they were going skinny, which is straight in line with the likes of Sam Collins, who was just picking it off because he's spare. So the change of angle out of that last stoppage actually gave them an opportunity to get that holding the ball and a shot at goal.
One of the sweetest strikers in football, isn't he, Kane Farrell? Reminds me of a number 11 in the yellow and black many years ago. It's the kick up towards centre-half forward. Big spoil there from Alir. Got knocked it away from King. Rowell, a shot on goal. Ricochets.
He'll get a free kick.
Through the
pack.
A push. Push late was there, and the kick will come back towards centre-half forward for Rowell. From
downfield.
Well,
they're going to raffle it. Moyle.
So Moyle, well, is that his third goal? That's
It's the same story again, though. It's centre bounce. The Suns mids win it, and then they beat the Port Adelaide mids out of forward stoppage, and it's an ill-disciplined free kick, and you would not be happy if you're Stuart Dew, the midfield coach of Port Adelaide, and certainly not if you're Josh Carr.
2 career goals before tonight for Ned Moyle. He's going to come in for his 3rd of the night and 5th of his career. Ned Moyle, the big ruck from the Gold Coast. The margin now back out to 41 points. 7-6 plays 13-5, 14-5 I think it'll be.
And I agree, Lauren, there's no need to do it. Matt Rowell's running just inside 50. He's having a shot at goal under pressure. There's no need to shove him in the back after he's kicked the ball, because the result is another goal. You go down again, and the big ruckman, who we probably had a few question marks about, did they go too tall?
It's working.
He's kicked a goal in every quarter and been the dominant forward on the park. Poor old King's only been able to manage one major so far.
I think it's if you're a midfielder and you're getting beat for work rate, the last thing you want to do is give away an ill-disciplined free kick, and which results in a goal. And if anything, if you just hope the coaches miss it on the replay, and now you're going to make sure they haven't.
No, they won't miss that one on the replay. And back in my day, I'd love saying that you'd be on the pine.
A restart. Oh, just hacked out of there by Witts. Both rucks went at it. Spilled down. Witts just threw the boot at it. Got it inside forward 50 at the crumb. Holman gathered, gave it off to Lombard. Hits the right-hand goal post. From about 25 metres out. A minor score for him. The Gold Coast, 14-6-90. Port, 7-6-48. The lead is now 42 points, 19 gone in the third.
Ball in the hands of Evans at the top of the goal square at the airport end. Kicks in the Radicaleer direction. Contest comes over the back to Butters. Runs a long way and runs too far. In fact, I don't think it was Butters at all, but it was too far. And it's going to be a free kick to
Joe Berry. It was
Joe Berry, thank you. Should look for the strapping on the shoulders and the green boots. And so it'll be a free kick to John Noble. It's the right intention. You wanted to take the game on as they're struggling to get going in this quarter. Yardapulti, barely 15. Another possession for Noah Anderson. He marks
up to 25, Anderson.
He marks on the low lead. And now he kicks in the King direction. He's being buffeted under the footy. Big spoil from behind to Radicaleer. Rowell's getting busy, which will thrill the coach and the Suns fans. Wines, though. Almost towed it forward. Couldn't quite take it with him. Bodie Hewland. McAndrew received the handball from Tuke Miller. Rowell shrugs a tackle. Flares it out on the left boot out towards the wing. Suns through Noble. Such a solid performer. Rarely plays a bad game, Johnny Noble. He's out on the left forward flank. Kicks in towards the pocket. Big fly from King. Goes through his hands. Hacked out by Darcy Byrne-Jones. And the mark is taken out there at right half back for Yardapulti.
Power to play on. Down the line, Whitlock slapping it forward. Worked in by McKinlay, got crunched, but was able to knock it into the path of a teammate who sent it inside forward 50. That's well worked from Berry. Got it onto Durden, who marked about 45 from goal. He's 45-degree angle to the right of centre.
And with the Suns having a spare in their backline more often than not, that's the run at the game and the handball game that's going to work for Yardapulti. Big kick for Durden.
Start the approach from just inside 50. Already with one goal tonight. Some kicks from just outside 50. Durden, it's a pretty good kick, but it just misses right. Minor score. Yardapulti's Moving on to be 7-7-49. They trail Gold Coast 14-6-90. A 41-point lead to the Suns. 21 into the third. Collingwood have drawn level. Goal to Rowan Steele, the first of the final term. 9-14-68 apiece at the SCG between the Swans and the Magpies.
Will Powell kicks in the Petrarca direction. He got some leverage off Farrell. Couldn't take the mark after getting hands to it. Spills out of bounds in front of the Morris Rioli grandstand here at Marara. Great crowd in. They're a little subdued. We saw a great second quarter, end-to-end footy. Yatapulti were right in the match then. But towards the end of the second term, 5 goals in a row to Gold Coast have broken this game open. And it's been a pretty tepid third quarter from both sides, really. Not a lot of scoring being done. Witts, Lombard's been busy tonight. To Miller. His handball was chopped down. Moraes dives over the footy. Moraes goes again, squeezes it out. Only as far as Anderson. Another possession, a handball to Witts. Petrarca goes hard at the footy. Burgoyne clean hands with a slippery footy. Gave it off to McKinlay. Kicks towards half forward. Horn Francis tried the unthinkable. Went up one hand, couldn't take the mark. Two-person tackle there, holding the footy. Could have been play on, couldn't it, Lauren?
I reckon, yeah. But, only just took possession of the ball, McKinlay, and was doing everything he could to try and use the footy. I'm pretty sure that's the criteria.
Will Powell,
that was harsh.
Back. Free kick here for Powell. Sends it towards right half forward. Big pack up. Burgoyne tried to fly. Couldn't get to it. Spills out to Lombard. Gathered beautifully against the boundary at right half forward. Sent it inside forward 50. Humphrey couldn't mark. Spoil came from Evans. Burn-Jones at the drop, and he's able to steer it back towards fullback. Chance for Port to set up again. Lorenz. Ooh, turned it over. He has. Walters looking to chop it off. He's been able to take the mark about 52 out from goal. Hard up against the boundary. Now he can get the distance. That I have no doubt. He's just indicating to his teammates that he's like his chances from where he is. Already with a couple tonight. Jed Walter. Walter for Gold Coast. That's not going to be a goal. He's set it up to the teeth of goal. Big pack flies. Spills down. Looking to try and work it away in there. They'll try and battle it out. Unable to get it out is Moraes. Eventually the umpire will ball it up. Stewart left full forward for the Suns. Moyle tapped it down. Anderson hit him in the face. Picked up then by Alir. Kick towards right half back. No mark taken immediately. Eventually they'll steer it out to Drew at a thumping kick in the middle of the ground. That's marked by Collins of the Suns.
Going to come back for the Gold Coast. He flares it out towards the wing. It's Daniel Rioli in front of the Morris Rioli grandstand. It finds Nick Holman in for his first game of the season. Like-for-like replacement with the equally hard-nosed Ben Long. Slightly different look, the long blonde mullet. He kicks up towards full forward. In from the side, King, well held off the footy by Alir. In fact, Radagalier it is. Held the drop zone cleverly and took the mark on his chest. Walter couldn't get to the contest either. So Radagalier, who's been serviceable tonight, looks for Alir. Hits him in the nose. Rowell good. Handball juggled by Witts. Slippery footy now. Holman couldn't trap the footy. Sweep for Yatapulti. Back to Alir to Jace Burgoyne. From left half back. Tumbles the ball up towards the wing. King nudges Horn Francis under the footy. I should say Collins nudges Horn Francis under the footy. Mac Andrew. Oscar Adams does well. Gives it out to Noah Anderson. Anderson bursts away. Kicks back inside attacking 50. King well placed but reaching around and spoiling as Radagalier superbly works. Lombard, he's got a player on in the pocket. Will he find him? That's out of bounds on the full from where I'm sitting. It's out of bounds on the full, but the umpire said Humphrey has marked 30 metres out on the white paint.
Tough call to make. I think the boundary umpire was in a good spot, but then ended up with 2 players in front of him. One of them was Humphrey, the other was Burn-Jones. So
Think of another caller who would have gone, that was out of bounds! That was out of bounds!
So Humphrey to join the list of goal scorers for the Gold Coast. From 30 metres, boundary line, Bailey Humphrey has kicked it out of bounds on the full.
The footy gods.
The footy gods have spoken.
They have.
It was out of bounds and it stayed out of bounds.
To be fair to the boundary umpire, it would have been a tricky one to see.
I'm prepared.
Not for us.
I'm prepared to give him that. That doesn't change the fact that it was out of bounds. I'll forgive the call. But yes, And now there's a fight on in the crowd for that footy. Meantime, there's a fight on for the footy in the middle. And players are piling over the top of it at right half forward for the Suns, and Collins eventually will throw it back to the umpire, who'll ball it aloft. Still there's a battle for the footy at the airport end. Petrarca's been able to get a kick away inside attacking 50 for Gold Coast. Burgoyne takes a defensive mark, left back pocket for Port. Will steer it back to full back where Murray's marks. Just to the left of his defensive goal square where the Indigenous flag is painted across the both ends of the ground, celebrating the Indigenous nations in Sir Doug Nicholls rounds. Towards the commentary wing. Ewan tried to get a hand pass forward. Horne-Francis onto it. Tried to work it back to McKinlay. He slipped over. Holman might have been tackled. Without it, he was. We'll get the free kick at right half forward for the Suns and steers it back to Miller. Not far enough to be a mark. Forced to play on immediately. A hurry hand pass to Holman.
He has another go at distributing the footy. Butters. Centering ball into the middle is good to Georgiadis. A rare occasion he's got away from the clutches of Collins. Darcy Byrne-Jones, nothing straight ahead, so has to flare it wide to Berry. He's 70 metres out at right half forward. Suns defenders and midfielders flood back, so he pokes a kick to a 1-on-3 contest, spoiled away by Will Powell into the right forward pocket and out of bounds.
Be pretty comfortable, Joel, if you're a Suns defender in this second half.
Yeah, it's slowed down a lot. Even the Suns aren't going with great speed. I think fatigue is setting in, and you can see even at this contest, there's hands on hips, there's hands on knees. They're all just tentatively waiting for the ball to be thrown in. I think the air's gone out of the balloon a little bit.
Inside 50s, 19-8 in this quarter in favour of Gold Coast.
And a blood draw, which is probably why they're all waiting.
Head down to the boundary, Will.
Both Port Adelaide rucks are currently got a bit of claret coming out of their head, so not sure who's going to contest this hit out, but Jordan Sweat and Don Byzantini both getting strapped up.
The answer will be Whitlock, who'll go up against Witts.
Battle of the Witts.
Shallow throw in. Witts won the tap, and roving and missing was Berry, who grabbed the crumb, threw the ball on his boot, hooked it too far around the corner for a behind only. So 7-8-50, the margin is 40 points, 14-6-90 Gold Coast. 28 minutes gone, third quarter.
Here's Daniel Rioli with the kicking duties. So we're in the Morris Rioli grandstand here at Marara. Friday night footy on ABC Sport as Daniel Rioli takes one bounce and then a second. Eventually kicks from the right back pocket towards the commentary wing. Witts marks, almost gets collected by King.
And the power can't let Rioli do that. He ran from fullback, had two bounces and kicked from the 50-metre line. The ball is now on the wing because they didn't put pressure on him.
Here's Witts kicking towards right half forward. King contests again up against the Lear. It spills down to Butters for the power. Goes back again to Murray's, then to Byrne-Jones. They continue to go by hand. It comes to Watkins. Gets a kick out towards right half back. Chance to gather again. Now find Durden. That's a lovely kick. Stabbing it forward from Berry and Durden. It'll complete the mark. It's spilled to ground. It's going to be locked in here on centre wing out of side. Ball up will be the call out of all of that. Witts arrives quickly against Wines. Wins it down. Stealing it Butters. Takes a bounce after two steps. Hands it off to Wines. Works it on to Berry again from right half forward. Kicks to Whitlock. Player standing in front. Powell spills down. Drew. Shoveled forward by Georgiades into the right forward pocket. He wanted Berry. Instead, Noble was able to gather for the Suns. And he finds Jeffrey, who marks at left half back.
Who slows play right down, creeping up on three-quarter time. 30 minutes played. Gold Coast 14-6-90. Yardapulti 7-8-50. It's been a 3-goal-to-1 quarter. Pretty slow going for both sides. Gold Coast have done just enough. Yardapulti really tiring in this third term. Both players have lost players from the bench. Suns are down 2. Yardapulti down 1. Game-ending injuries and concussions. Wines forced to do the ruck work this time against Witts. Petrarca. Burgoyne, who's been a trier all night, worked his way to the front position. He was up against Humphrey. Petrarca waits for the ball to be squeezed out. Jumper tug there was okay. Play on the call just as Yardapulti were breaking through the middle of Marara. At three-quarter time, it's all the Suns. They lead by 40 points as they surge toward their 10th win in a row here in the top end, 14,690 to 7,850.
The goal kickers look like this for Gold Coast. Ned Moyle's got 3. He'd only kicked 2 in his career before tonight. He's got 3 at the moment, a career best. Jed Walter with a couple as well. Singles to Noble, Petrarca, Euland, Lombard, well that's Bodie Euland, and Zeke Euland, Jeffrey, Graham, King and Goulburn, while for Yardapulti, 2 goals to McKinlay, and then singles to Berry, Farrell, Georgiades, Richards and Durden. It was a 16-point lead to Gold Coast at quarter time, a 27-point lead at the half, and they built on that to lead by 40 points at three-quarter time. It's the Suns over the Power with a quarter to play. Just a quick score check for you at the SCG between Sydney and Collingwood, and a reminder that at one stage in the second term, Collingwood led by 33 points with about 90 seconds to play. The Swans lead by 6, 11-15-81 to Collingwood 10-15-75. We'll hear from our experts in just a moment, Joel Bowden and Lauren Arnell, wherever you're listening on ABC Local Radio, Sport Digital and streaming on ABC Listen. This is Friday Night Footy on ABC Sport.
Get your documentary fix on ABC iView.
We have an industry that's just running riot.
Like Sean McAuliffe's Going for Broke.
Last win, come on.
Todd Sampson's Why.
The best things in life are on the other side of fear.
And more. Streaming now on ABC iView.
On ABC Local Radio, Sport Digital, and on ABC Listen. This is Sir Doug Nicholls Round with ABC Sport.
We're at Marara, where there's a 40-point lead to the Suns over the Power, but there's a thriller at the SCG. Let's take you there for the closing stages. The Swans lead by 6 points.
Swans by 6 points. We've ticked past the half-hour mark. Grundy, hand pass to the outside now. Fahini takes on the crisp tackle. Off to Quainer. And now Nick Dacos just spirals it beyond defensive. 50 down the corridor. It's marked by McInerney. That might just save the Swans. He sends them back inside 50. Heaney lost his footing as Quainer came late. It's off hands for a throw-in. The home side leads by a goal. 81 plays 75. 31 minutes played here at the SCG.
25 seconds on the clock, so probably time to take the ball the length of the ground, but probably very unlikely.
Grundy and McStay. Grundy palms it down. Josh Dacos clears the area. Still a chance for Collingwood. Ball bounces free in the middle of the ground. Here's Houston. Great tackle, Rowbottom. Huge tackle in game 150. A game-winning tackle.
How fitting, hey?
From the Warrior in the Swans midfield, just as Houston was about to send the Pies forward.
Blakey on the wing. That might be it. The Swans prevail. And another SCG classic against the Pies. 6-point winners. To stay on top of the AFL ladder. 9 wins in 10 starts. 6-point winners tonight.
What a remarkable turnaround it was. Sydney victorious in Sydney. They've now won 7 on the bounce, while Collingwood back-to-back defeats. As I mentioned, they led by, at one stage, 33 points to the Magpies before losing in the end, as you heard from Brett Sprigg, by 6 points. Here, it's a bit more lopsided. Gold Coast by 40 points with a quarter to play. Goodness me, Lauren Arnell, Joel Bowden, what do we expect in this last quarter?
Well, it's a bit of a tough one. I know we mentioned throughout the call in that third quarter that the momentum and the sting, even in the crowd, has come out of this game. And I'm so interested watching teams when you're up against it or if things are going your way and how the body language is in the breaks. And the whole Suns team have gone, do we call it the cold room? Is that what we call it up here? The cold room. Yeah. The entire Suns team went in, which I would be doing like at quarter time. It's obviously three-quarter time, and the conditions are very, very challenging, right? And then I watched Yardapulti, and about three-quarters of the team wandered into the cold room, and the other quarter just stayed out chatting to the coaches. And I'm looking at that and going, is it one in, all in? And there are things that we can criticise that are far more important than this within a game. But for me, it's not a great sign if you're sort of crumbling and apart from each other at such an important part of the game, when it's going to be very challenging for Yardapulti to win from here. But the game's not over. And I think you've got to find a sense of togetherness when, for much of that third quarter in particular, they look beaten. The Suns have been dominant with inside 50s. At halftime, they were +4 inside 50s, and now at three-quarter time, +14. One battle for Port Adelaide in the last few weeks has been the volume of inside 50s. They're now up to 38, which is 3 more than they had all game last week against the Dogs. And they have tried a few different things to overcome the Suns. I think the Suns' mids have been exceptional. Sam Collins, for me, is close to best on ground, and he hasn't had to get his hands too dirty, but he's comprehensively beaten Mitch Georgiades and been able to structure up the spares down the line for the Suns very, very well, particularly in that third quarter. But what Port Adelaide tried to do, Joel, was send extra numbers around stoppage and slow the Suns scoring down, which did work for the most part. But when they won the ball at stoppage, they look up and they're looking at 3 red jumpers and absolutely nothing to kick to, which leads to serious inefficiency and really what seems to be a demoralised Port Adelaide.
It makes it hard, doesn't it? And it is almost the point in time when Horn Francis missed an open goal that they dropped the bundle a little bit. And I felt that quarter was a bit slower, and Rob, you called it late in the quarter that things had sort of slowed down, and it's going to be very difficult to score multiple goals because they're well behind now if you're not going at 110% pace. Now, Craig Edwards recovering from operation, you'll say to me later on, I know you can't give any more than 100%, but 60 plus 80 does equal 140%, Craig. Yes, so good luck with your recovery from your operation. But they seem to have dropped away. They seem to have dropped off a bit. Yes, the extra at the stoppage helps, but on transition, and even that last little kick-in, and when I say that last little kick-in, Rioli steps out of the square. Now, we call it a square, it's a rectangle, but steps out of the square. He then proceeds to have 2 bounces and kick the ball in from the 50-metre line. That says to me, that team, the Power, have lost the energy, have lost the effort that's required to defend. And if you can't defend Gold Coast at Marara, you're not going to win.
What are some of the other numbers? Tell us, Rob Cross.
Overall, Gold Coast have had 43 more possessions. They've had 10 more contested possessions. Clearances go the way of Port, 27 to 25. Tackles, 41 to 36 in Port's favour. Individually, Noah Anderson's got better as the game's gone on. 28 disposals with 20 kicks and going at 79% efficiency. Noble's had a great night. 26 disposals at 96%. Petrarca 22, Bodie Ewell 21 disposals. And for Yatapulti, Byrne-Jones 23. Burgoyne's been solid all night and had a real crack, 22 across half back. Butters has been okay, 21. Drew 18, Ollie Wines 16. So some disappointment. You tagged it in a third quarter. Some disappointing results by some of those midfielders tonight.
Yeah, and I think probably just when you watching the game from a great angle that we have, it just looks to me that the work rate from the Suns is far better, and we can talk conditions and the time they've had in the territory. That does matter, but I think you've got to be able to grind it out more than what we've seen from some of the Port players.
Underway in the final term. How will this end up? Can Port find a way to just fight back on the scoreboard as Horn Francis got a kick from the middle? No mark taken across half forward. Noble tried to gather. He's been given a free kick here. Been held without the football. Wines will stand the mark. Noble for the Suns. Glances to his left, and that's where the kick goes to Bodie Ewan. Bounced in front of him. Umpire says play on. Tries to get away from his opponent. Eventually gets a kick towards left half forward. Alir comes out to meet it. Umpire spotted a free kick going the way of Alir here. And have it at right half back for Yatapulti.
He can hold his head high. I think he's done a really solid job on Ben King. Ben King's only had the 2 touches and 1 goal so far.
Alir towards right half forward. Andrew front position for the Suns. Couldn't mark it. Slap forward here by Port. Durden elects to soccer it off the ground. It'll bounce towards full forward. Collins intercepts. Tried to get a hand pass out to Adams. He had 2 Port players to beat and got crunched after he went to ground. Umpire says it's a play on. Oof.
Does it matter if you're lying on the ground if someone then kicks you in the head accidentally? Like, surely that's still too high.
I would absolutely think it should have been. Crunched.
It's a contest, but he's literally bumped him and kicked him in the head going for the ball.
Still a free kick. A restart down towards Rioli. Back to Bodie Ewell. Tried to get it out his defensive 50 and immediately set upon here by Lorenz. And then he's tackled. A ball up across half forward for the Suns. Thrown up in the air. Anderson gets the kick away. King tried to fly on the commentary wing. Alir won it down. Holman scoops it up. Hand pass to Rao. Tried to take on Drew. Got spun 360. Got a hand pass out. Give him plenty of latitude. Well, the Brownlow medalists do. It comes towards King kicks inside forward 50. Moyle! Mark not paid, had 2 goes at it, tries to play on quickly, kicks up into the air. It'll bounce right on the behind line. What will the umpire say? They're going to ball it in. Deep in the right forward pocket.
Moyle snatched it out of Radicalia's hands there, and he looks such an athletic kid. They just grow him on trees up there, don't they?
Brownlow medalists do get a bit more time, don't they, with the footy?
Rao?
Yeah.
I would think so.
Right forward pocket for the Suns. No score so far, early stages of the last quarter. Gold Coast lead by 40 points. Ball is farmed out there. And Yadapul go up towards the wing. Clears Mac Andrews' head. He's got Whitlock for company. And it's going to be a lasso free kick to the Suns. So Mac Andrew has been serviceable. Not one of his most notable games. Have just been solid all night. And he's turning into a very, very good AFL footballer. Given the right conditions, he is sensational to watch. A little greasy tonight, but he's just done what he's had to do. Rioli, solid again from the wing. Wanting something to move up ahead of him. Kicks inside 50 towards the right forward pocket. Out came King. Spoiled away again by Alia. He's sweated on him all night, and with his athleticism has made it a tough night for Ben King. Just the 1 goal, as Lauren Arnell pointed out earlier. Thrown up. Vicentini in front of Moyle. Taps to the boundary line. And over boundary throw in 35 metres around from the Suns' goal. 14-6-90 to 7-8-50. 40-point lead to the Suns. The same margin as it was 3.5 minutes ago. 3/4 time.
Boundary umpire waits for a moment. Spins it back in. Moyle against Vicentini in the ruck. Vicentini the more telling tap. Spilled down to the power. Anderson thought he was held without it. Rao gathers it, hurries it onto the boot towards the right forward pocket, off hands. And well done, Radicale broke away from an attempted tackle. Kicks towards the outer wing. Horn Francis flew, but was up before acceptances. Free kick going the way of the Suns. They turn it over immediately. Drew makes the intercept mark at left half back. Steers it to the attacking edge of the defensive 50. Finds Farrell, kicks in the middle of the ground. Oscar Adams won it down. It came there to Witt. Shoveled a hand pass. Well, 3-on-1 against Anderson, who did pretty well just to try to lock it in. Eventually, the power end up through hands to Burn Jones across half-back, and he stabs it to Durden, who marks on the logo commentary wing.
The former Blue has Burn Jones out wide if he wants him, ignores it. Kick is smothered there by Jeffrey. Ends up with Noble, and he sends the Suns back towards half forward. Lombard with some space. Handballs to Jeffrey. King wants it over the top. He waits and then delivers. But Alia in front got hands to it, and then it was taken over the shoulder. Well played by Alia. There was an opportunity for Jeffrey to a bit more oomph in the kick and would have cleared Alia. Kick wasn't accurate enough. And he was able to spring up in front of King and defuse the situation as Farrell runs away through centre half back with a couple of bounces. Then drills the ball out towards the wing. Yadapulti sets something up. Burgoyne runs past. Delivers inside attacking 50. Working his way to the front was Georgiades. He's playing for a free kick and he gets it for a hold. Collins won't be happy. They were wrestling each other. Georgiades fell to ground. Collins has both hands on his head, refusing to believe that he was the perpetrator of an offence, and Georgiades will line up for his second goal.
Oh, you can understand why Sam Collins would be filthy on that. He had front position. Georgiades was lazy and took back position, but pretty clever from Mitchell Georgiades. Just got himself underneath the arm of Sam Collins and
is it unfair,
went to ground.
Is it unfair to say he's been lazy back position most of the night, Lauren?
No, I think Sam Collins has beaten him comprehensively.
He's worked his way. In comes Georgiades for his second of the night, hooks the kick and squeezes through for a behind just. First score of the final term, 6 minutes gone. It's 14-6-90 to 7-9-51.
And the footy gods win again.
They do. They have their way, the footy gods. Here's Jeffrey to Holman, who marks at left half back and plays on immediately. Will kick towards the wing. The Morris Rioli grandstand, big pack up, spilled down. Butters couldn't emerge with it. The Suns could though. King working it forward for Humphreys to run onto. Stepped inside Moraes, kicks the Suns to full forward at the back, trying to stretch. Goldman couldn't gather. Burgoyne under pressure went by hand back towards Radicale, who was happy to see it across the behind line for a rush behind. Another minor score. Gold Coast 14-7-91, their first score of this term. Port 7-9-51. Suns lead 40 points, 7 gone in the last.
Burgoyne's kick to Farrell. Farrell just shorts it. Covers just enough distance to Evans. Not sure where to go. And so he'll go out of bounds on the full. Well, that's another option. He wanted Anastasopoulos, who was calling for it on the wing, but skewed off the side of the boot. And so Noble will come up with a footy. Anastasopoulos, in his first game of AFL footy, had 13 disposals. Most of those in the first half. He's quietened down a bit since then. Aliir sets himself. In comes King from the side. Petrarca tries another quick snap, akin to earlier in the match when he kicked a great goal. A little bit further out this time, hooks the kick out of bounds on the full. So right back pocket, Radagalier to kick the ball back into play for Yardapulti.
Watching the start of this last quarter, Jason Horne-Francis has been the deepest forward for Yardapulti this whole time, and for a significant chunk of the third as well. Makes you wonder if he's injured.
Here goes Radagalier towards right half back, marked by Durden, plays on immediately to Evans, running by. Kicks long through the middle, over the top. He wanted Berry. Berry thought he was infringed by Rioli. That's what the umpire saw too. He'll get the free kick. Come back. The crowd has gone oh so quiet. They were raucous for the first half. Big Port Adelaide contingent. I know they're just here to see what eventuates on the margin. Butters, though, after he takes a mark, can do something special here. It'll bring them to their feet. He'll kick long inside forward 50. Sweet was there. Oh, Andrew flew, punched it down. Great spoil from up on high. Spilled the Lombard of the Suns. Got it away to Anderson. Umpire spotted a free kick. Non-controlling one as well. It's one for the Suns. They elect to move it on. Bodie or Zekiel rather towards the outer side. And here's Weller who marks on the wing.
Humphrey's out in the forward pocket all by himself.
And it goes in that direction. He went about it quietly, did Humphrey. 49 metres out, close to the boundary line. He just snuck out the back. He's got the leg on him. He's a talented footballer. Lauren Arnell was keen to see him play. It's not one of his greatest games, Lauren. He squeezes the little chip.
No, he's been quiet, hasn't he?
Yep, but he can play at his very best. Noah Anderson, he hasn't been quiet. This will be possession number 31. Back into the pocket, not one of his better ones. Straight down the throat.
But he's kicked long all night, if I could say anything about Anderson. When he's in trouble, he's kicked it long.
Evans finds Drew. Evans went past for the handball receive, but he was being marked pretty closely. Farrell.
I think they call Mr. Anderson the one.
Comes to McKinlay, to Butters. And Zach Butters streams forward to Horne-Francis. Adams riding him very closely. Powell gets bumped to ground. Vicentini back to Butters. Bumped off the footy. Rouse got busier. Slammed into the turf by Horne-Francis. Bodie Ulan comes up with the footy and kicks in the Holman direction. Can he keep it in play? It skids across the turf. He slips slightly, pushes off his opponent in Farrell. It goes out of bounds.
As we welcome our listeners joining us throughout the rest of the nation here to Marara in the top end. Gold Coast on their way to what will be a 10th consecutive win here at Marara. They got a really impressive lead over Port by 40 points, 14-7-91 to Port Adelaide. Yardapulti in the Sir Doug Nicholls round, 7-9-51. Ball is in dispute at left half forward. Off hands it comes down towards Petrarca. Kicks inside forward 50. Here's King. Has had a quiet night. Kicks but misses. Looking for his second. It's just a minor score to the right-hand side. Then King sees the Suns lead out to 41 points, 14-8-92 to 7-9-51. Clint Wilden with you alongside Rob Cross in commentary. Our experts Lauren Arnell and Joel Bowden. Will Zwar is downstairs. Gold Coast led by 16 points at quarter time, by 27 at the half, by 40 at three-quarter time. And they're on their way to make it 10 out of 10 in recent performances at this venue.
Goalless final term so far through 11 minutes. One behind to Yardapulti, two behinds to the Gold Coast Suns. So pretty flat finish for this match.
Brutal too in these conditions. No stop of play.
I think the aircon went off before. I got really sweaty, Lauren. As the ball's tapped over by Petrarca, was he taken high? Winds up to Whitlock in front of Mac Andrew, who does enough to knock it away. Charging through Berry, great courage. Ulan coming in the other way. Thrown onto the boot there of Watkins. In towards the pocket. Well done, a high shot there, I think, on Adams from Horne-Francis. Did the umpire see it, or has it gone out of bounds? It's going to be a boundary throw-in. I thought it was a pretty high tackle, but the umpire was not in the right position, and so it will be in the right forward pocket. A late chance here for Yardapulti to get a little bit of respectability on the board. They were good in the second quarter until conceding 5 late goals in the second term, which is really where the Suns broke the game open. Whitlock beaten to the footy by Witts. Horne-Francis is rallying late in this game. Handball is farmed out only as far as Lombard, though, who gives it off to Zeke Uland, who kicks it out in the Holman direction, who marks out at right half-back.
We'll head downstairs. Just getting the injury update for our listeners who've just joined us with Will Zwar in just a moment. He's been keeping across all of that this evening. There's a couple of big bits of news to bring you as well. Suns move it down the outer wing, offhand, spill down to Durden of the Power, kicks back towards left half forward. Berry couldn't mark, it'll spill across the boundary line, which gives us a chance to go downstairs. There's been a bit of chaos for both benches. Will, tell us all about it.
Yeah, earlier tonight, Lockie Weller, he went off with a hamstring injury. That was in the first quarter. It was matched by Lockie Jones, who went off with a concussion, and then a second blow for the Suns with Will Graham off. And then late in that third quarter, both Port Adelaide.
We might come back. We've had a few problems tonight with the mic downstairs with Will. It was also a concussion, I believe, for Will Graham as well. So a couple of concussion issues downstairs, one for both teams. But of course, as we mentioned, 2 missing from the bench at the moment for Gold Coast and 1 for the Power. Ball's be thrown in. Right forward pocket. The Suns spills out here in the direction Collins. He tries to work it forward. Non-controlling umpire has spotted a free kick here, and it's coming to go back towards Berry. Is it? It is. Berry taken high, according to the non-officiating umpire. And Berry should be able to go back and have a shot here for Yardapulti from point-blank range. Works it on with the set snap, throws it onto the left boot. He steers it through. Joe Berry gets his second for Yardapulti. It's just a matter of the margin, though. The Suns lead is cut back to 35 points, 14-8-92 to Port 8-9-57. 14 gone in the final term. Friday night footy here on ABC Sport, on ABC Local Radio, Sport Digital, and now streaming, of course, on ABC Listen.
And as you said, Clint, the non-controlling umpire pulled a free kick out of there. It was like a rugby scrum in the goal square at one stage there, and the umpires found a free kick. Berry's kicked his second goal, but 14 minutes gone, Lauren. The sting has gone out of this one, and I think they're all the players and maybe even the crowd are just counting down the minutes now, unfortunately.
And without being disrespectful, even Port Adelaide trying Joe Richards now at centre bounce, which I haven't seen since ever for Port Adelaide.
Witts bashes a 25-metre handball up towards centre-half back, intercepted by Butters. Kicks up towards the first gamer, Anastasopoulos. He soccers off the ground. He gets it inside attacking 50, and there'll be a boundary throw-in. So at least gained some territory with that manoeuvre. 35 metres around, right forward pocket for Yardapulti.
And it's not a bad debut by the young fella. I like the modern football game because you get lots of minutes. When I played my first game, I think I got 5 minutes, spent the rest of the time on the bench.
Richards gives it off there to Watkins, or was it Lorenz? Free kick's been picked out. It's going to come back to Richards. And so a chance for a couple of goals in about 90 seconds for Yardapulti.
And I don't mind this. I mentioned Richards at centre bounce, and that being something different with Horne-Francis starting as the deepest forward. And I mean, you've got to take your opportunities, even if it looks a bit grim for Port. Trying different things and having Joe Richards as a mid in this latter stages of this game can't hurt this team.
Kicked one at this end in the second quarter. A long time for everyone to get set. And Richards takes his time to bring the margin back to 29 points. 35 metres, kicks well. Joe Richards gets his second of the night. And this is a nice finish by Yardapulti. It threatened to be a real blowout by the Suns, but Yardapulti fighting out the last 10 minutes or so. And at the 16-minute mark of the last quarter, 63 plays 92.
It's funny, he's almost forgotten to go back to CB. He's a high half forward. He works his absolute backside off Joe Richards. And so to get that one as a mid, it's funny how you find a little bit more space when you're a midfielder than what you would as a half forward, which he just grinds his game out, and pleased for him that he gets an opportunity to have a bit more of a run around.
Well, that's what Matthew Richardson said when he went to the wing. No one picks me up anymore, so it's a bit different. And I mean, it's good to see. It's good to see that the players are playing to the conditions now. I mean, I've got a very simple terminology, Rob, and you might have heard me in the wet here in the North Territory. When you're in doubt, just kick the out of it. That's all they have to do. Just get it down their end and kick the bladder out of the ball if you can.
Always good advice. Free kick.
Oh, he's out of bounds.
Out of the middle. And he took a bounce and ran into trouble. Sweet. And then, luckily for him, got taken high. Oh, goodness. That was almost a disaster. Got told he had a free kick, took a bounce, ran straight into traffic. Decides to play on by hand, gave it off to Moraes, kicks towards full forward. No mark taken. They're able to work it away here, the Suns, through Holman, kicking towards left half back. Ball goes flying past Humphrey. He tries to keep his footing and then taken by Burne-Jones out of bounds. It'll be a throw-in right beneath our broadcast position here in the Morris Rioli grandstand. Still, we have another look as Sweet saw Holman come towards you and immediately must have thought, oh no, but got taken high, fortunately, for the power play. Gold Coast Suns lead is 29 points, 18 gone in the last.
Oh, a goal from that thrust made things a little bit interesting. Butters sends him inside 50 again. Out comes Whitlock, smashed from the side by Powell. Wines. Durden from the boundary line. Corey Durden across the face of goal and through for one behind. He had Horne-Francis at the top of the square, went himself. There's some life in Yatapulti late. Margin 28 points, 18 minutes gone last quarter.
Might be too little, far too late though, unfortunately for them.
And Damien Hardwick is getting right into this game. I think there must be a little bit more in it for him than we realise.
Well, I'm sure he'd love to get a win over his former Port Premiership player in Josh Carr. First time they've gone head-to-head, those two. Great mark from Butters at right half forward over the top of Holman. Moved it on to Wines. Hard up against the boundary. Centering, kicked the full forward. Whitlock couldn't take the mark. I reckon Durden almost got in his way. The teammates battling. Collins locks it in. Ball up the court, full forward. Oh, so close for another Port opportunity. Sweet won it down, or Horne-Francis hit it hard and immediately tackled the ground. That's a great tackle from Bodie Ewand.
It is.
Gee whiz, Horne-Francis hit that at pace. Ewand up to the test. Comes down again towards Butters, gave it off to Richards, works it off the outside of the right boots. He's got three. They put a bit of life into this contest, the Power. And again, the mad scramble behind the goal by the spectators at the airport end. They're desperate to get a touch on the footy. 14-8-92 Gold Coast. Port are now 10-10-70. The Suns lead us back to 22 points as we hit time on in the final term. At one stage, Gold Coast led by 40.
It seems unlikely, but it's not impossible, is it? It's not impossible.
So you're saying there's a chance, Lauren?
You've got a few of those tonight, haven't you?
Well, I've got one for the AFL to consider. In the last quarter, every time there's a goal kicked, the person who gets the ball behind the goal should keep the ball. Not going to cost them a lot of money, but it's going to keep kids here. And if kids are here, parents are here. That's for Greg Swan. I might talk to him after the game if I can find him.
Moyle won the tap only as far as Butters. They're going to go forward again to Drew. Exciting finish by Yatapulti. Still plenty of time. He kicks in towards the pocket. On the bounce, Horne-Francis in front of Mac Andrew. Spins onto the right boot. Hooks the kick around. To the top of the square, Watkins was there. Went past him. Berry, Watkins. Richards again was taken high. Richards will get a free kick and line up for goal number 4, 30 metres out directly in front. The margin will be 16 points at the 20.5-minute mark.
Well, we've been talking about work rate from centre bounce stoppage. Hello, Joe Richards. Take your opportunity. He's beaten the Suns' opponents out just as they've done all night. Potentially a fourth goal.
From directly in front, Richards kicks, and Richards misses. Oh, away to the right-hand side. He poked it just a little bit. The margin is 21 points. Opportunity goes begging. 21 minutes gone last quarter.
So the ball taken eventually by Bodie Ewand, who's got it deep in the right back pocket.
There's no player on the mark at the moment.
Allows him to take a bounce. Head beyond defensive 50. Long kick towards centre wing. No mark taken. Trying to work it forward, Georgiades tapped it out the side to Burgoyne, got it to Burne-Jones, hard up against the boundary, kick towards right half forward, Berry flew, staying down Powell, quick hand pass back to Bodie Ewand, hand pass to no one in particular, takes an awkward bounce for Collins, Berry emerges with it, here he is, and Anastasopoulos kicks towards goal, on debut, not quite, didn't have the carry, gathered in the goal square, Whitlock snaps! Whitlock misses. to the left-hand side. Oh, they went berserk for a moment, the fans. There's plenty of them in Port colours, but it's just a minor score. Yardapulti 10-12-72. Gold Coast 14-8-92, 22 gone.
Whitlock had options too, just like Jed Walter earlier in the game. Went for the shot over the shoulder.
Huge kick by Joel Jeffrey to clear the danger zone, and Yardapulti are coming hard at Gold Coast. So Jeffrey just belted it 65 metres out towards the outer side, and it goes out of bounds off hand. So boundary throw in.
The Suns have to actually speed the game up. They can't keep playing this slow game. They've got to speed the game up and kick a goal, because if they don't, you never know, they might get run over.
20 points in it. Sweet wins the tap, comes to Drew off the side of the boot. Will just cover the required distance. It marked here by Lorenz or Watkins it might be. Pokes it to the top of the square. Mac Andrew drops the mark, comes quickly to the back of the pack. Snap over the shoulder, hits the post. Georgiades threw the ball on the boot and hit the left-hand goalpost. They're peppering away the margin now. 19 points, 10-13 plays 14-8. Gold Coast have stopped. 23 minutes gone last quarter.
Cristiano Ronaldo would have been happy with that. That was a bicycle kick by Georgiades.
Did he slip, you reckon? Or intentional?
Adelaide long beyond defensive 50. That's a good mark to Moyle. The big man dragging down the mark, and then no one has stood the mark for Port. They won't be happy, the Port fans, but it's absolutely there. Whoever it was,
Burn Jones,
has not stood the mark. They have all run back. And the moment it happened, the umpire, I hate the law, but has called it correctly. Here goes Moyle, kicking into the left forward pocket for the Suns. One down by King at the back behind Alir. Rao somehow got a hand pass out to Noble. Now to Humphrey. Shocking kick. Might work out okay. Goes towards full forward. Walter tries to gather. Couldn't first time under pressure. Second time it's been a free kick's been spotted coming back to Alir, who was taken high. He'll have it deep in the right back pocket. There's still time. 19 points the margin. Suns still in front. 24 gone in the last.
Alir kicks it outside defensive 50. Flying in front was Sweet. Georgiades fumbles the slippery footy. Knocked off the footy by Andrew. Rao's handball was tough, and it comes off the side of the boot, though, of the Yardapulti player. And just as he's about to head in the Horn Francis direction, the kick skewed off the side of the boot and has gone out of bounds on the full. Is that Berry there?
It's Berry. He's
left footer. He's on his right-hand side.
Yep. He's been caught a lot on his left and tried to go right.
Joel Jeffrey sends the Suns back towards their attacking 50. Evans did well. Down to Butters. He's kicked back into the centre. Good contest. Powell was brave. Durden. Excellent work there by Watkins. Gives it off to Moraes. Moraes kicks inside 50. Caught out of position there. Oh, brilliant mark by Bodie Hewland. He was buffeted by Horn Francis, who tried to drop back on him and put body pressure. But Hewland is cut from granite.
Another 50. Come on.
That's not a hammy too, is it? That is. Or is he cramping, Ewan McKinlay?
I hope it's cramped, because if you do a hammy and give away a 50-metre penalty at the same time, that would be adding salt to an injury. Oh, he's cramping.
Another half chance goes begging for Yardapulti.
He can't move, McKinlay. Poor fella. He tried to get up, and immediately you could see the pain. The cramp hit him again.
Not ideal.
No, far from it. Suns have it at right half back through Anderson.
Oh, he's dropped again, the poor guy.
He's in absolute agony out there. We were hearing again from the Suns about how they have to replace up to 5 litres of fluid after one of these games. You can see why cramp is such an issue. Hot conditions. The start, it was about 28 degrees, 75% humidity. King has a mark at right half forward. He moves it short to Humphrey. He's still at right half forward, about 65 from goal.
Does he have a shot? It sort of takes the 30 seconds off the clock, which would be important at this stage of the game. And he's probably got the leg for it too. It's a fair way out, Clint.
It is.
It's the wrong end.
Not the scoring end.
Not the scoring end.
Not tonight.
Even though the flags are down, you can see they're just going to our right, and he's kicking to the left. He's dumped it.
To the right forward pocket. There's no mark taken there. Sweet tried to shovel a hand pass out. Petrarca was able to get it off the ground. Gave it away, though. Evans bounces a clearing kick beyond defensive 50. Back in the direction of Humphrey. Took on Richards. Tried to get a hand pass out in the direction of Zeke Ewan. It's gone across the boundary line. It's going to be the lasso rule, and Burne-Jones will have it. 50 out from his own goal. His defensive goal for Yardapulti. For the power, he runs and takes a bounce, and he'll kick towards Evans, who marks.
Once again, the spirit of Yardapulti on display. They haven't given it up entirely. Burne-Jones kicks up towards Horn. Francis flies high. Couldn't take the mark. Oscar Adams, reliable. Bodie Hewland, sensational. Kicks it back to Collins. And this tough Gold Coast defence stands tall again. They lead by 19 points. Now 27 and a half minutes gone. I think their hopes have now faded. They've had plenty of chances in the last 5 minutes to get it back to single figures. Didn't capitalise. Some costly 50-metre penalties didn't help. And now Mac Andrew will take it for the Suns at right half back, 60 metres out from the goal he's defending. Just 2 behinds this quarter to Gold Coast. And Yardapulti have kicked 3 goals, 5. Could have been anything. As it ricochets off hands, Petrarca tried to reach over his back to complete the play. Couldn't take it with him. Kicked inside attacking 50. Over the back of the pack. Walter's dangerous. Throws it on the left. Vacant goal square. Jed Walter does the deal. Jed Walter kicks his 3rd goal of the night. He's contested from the opening bounce. Hasn't had a lot of possessions, but every time the ball's been in his area, he's been tough to knock off the footy, and a good return for a big key forward on a slippery night. 3 goals. 29 minutes gone in the last quarter, and they get their first goal of the last quarter and lead by 25.
Well, he's been fun to watch, hasn't he, Joel? Jed Walter, he's had a very good game, and while Aaliyah can blanket Ben King for the majority of the night, the Suns just keep throwing those tools that we talked about pre-game, and Ned Moyle has had his involvements in some good moments, but Jed Walter's been an absolute bright spark ahead of the footy.
And they went quick. You know, Petrarca gets the handball across. Humphrey, who Rob, you said, has been quiet all night, gets the ball in, and Walter, he's dynamic. He turned onto his left and snaps a goal. He's going to be a player, I think, in the future, and look out for Jed Walter, because if King is slightly down, then he gets a chance to get that 3rd defender or even the 2nd defender, and he doesn't get as much attention. He might just be a joker in the pack for Damien Hardwick, and I think he was getting a bit worried there, Hardwick, for a short period of time. Those 50-metre penalties certainly helped turn the tide and turn the momentum.
Well, back in the middle. Sweet up against Moyle. Moyle got it down to Petrarca, got a kick away. Crowd's gone very quiet now after that last goal. Certainly Port the fancy team at this venue tonight. Winds towards right half forward and then sliding out. Berry can't keep it in. Has he hurt himself here, or is it just cramp again? I say just cramp. I know how painful it is. I think it is just cramp. He's going to just stretch it out the left leg and go back to the stoppage. Not sure what message the Suns are trying to tell by holding up a Bruce Lee sign, but that's what they've got. Picture of Bruce Lee from Enter the Dragon downstairs. Restart. Butters is out after it for Port. Gathered it. Hand pass to Burgoyne. Popped it over the top. Tried to go inside forward 50. Got tackled. Just got a hand pass out. It came to Horn Francis. Now to Berry. From 50 metres out. Sends it towards goal. Collins punches it through for a rush behind. Collins all class. No. Through for a minor score. 25 points to the lead for the Suns. Half an hour gone in the last.
Duke Miller from inside defensive 50. Kicks to the outer side. Marking contest. Big fly from Walter. A long way down from full forward at right half back.
Collins has been as good as anyone on the ground tonight. He's just won. I haven't seen him lose a contest.
He's a star.
He's a very good player, and he plays these conditions really well.
That angled throw in from the boundary umpire that Joel Bowden doesn't like. Gave the Suns about 10 metres extra. Off the ground went Drew. Going hard at ground level. He's the Suns player.
Rob, it's a good point, and we can talk about it in the aftermatch. But when the ball goes out in the half-forward flank, they throw it towards the centre circle.
Sweet. Won the tap. Wines was good. Oh, smother there was excellent by Andrew on Butters. Sidestep was neat by Rowell, who's got better as the game's gone on. I think one of the big pluses for the Suns tonight is the improved form, or just the return of Rowell. Struggled with a finger injury since the State of Origin game. The Suns do enough. Big 10 for the Suns. 10 in a row at Marara. They're home away from home. They were challenged in the last quarter, but they've won by 25 points. 15-8-98 to Yatapulti. 10-13-73.
So the Suns finish on top again in the top end. As Rob said, 10 consecutive wins at what is a fortress away from home for the Gold Coast Football Club. 15-8-98 to 10-13-73. They led by 16 points at quarter time, by 27 at the half, got it out to 40 points by three-quarter time before the Power fought back. Gold Coast, though, winning in the end by 25 points in front of 11,974 fans. So the goal kickers for the Gold Coast Suns, Ned Moyle with a career-high 3 for the ruckman. Jed Walter kicked 3 as well. And singles to Noble, Petrarca, to Bodie Hewlin, to Jeffrey, to Lombard, to Will Graham, to Zeke Hewlin, to King and to Goulburn. Worth mentioning, Ben King with just 1 goal tonight, so now 33 for the season in the Coleman medal race. He still remains top. Yatapulti, 3 to Richards, 2 to McKinlay, 2 to Berry, singles to Farrell, to Georgiades and to Durden. Gold Coast by 25 points in front of a very good crowd by Marara standards. 11,974 in to see the Suns down the Power. The Suns now with the 7th win in season 2026. Yatapulti go to be 3-7 from their 10 games. Let's get the thoughts of our experts. We'll head into the Suns' rooms and have a chat with someone, and also bring you Isaac Heaney from earlier tonight with Sydney's amazing come-from-behind victory against Collingwood. But first, here at Marara, in the top end, our experts Lauren Arnell and Joel Bowden for you on ABC Sport.
Well, it was an interesting last 15 minutes where the Power were resurgent, like they'd plugged themselves back in and they got the Power. But it was 10 minutes. It was 10 minutes in the second quarter from the 20-minute mark to the end of that second quarter when the Gold Coast just ran away with this game. It was really good to see the Power, work, the effort, the contest, and actually be right in the game. And then all of a sudden, the Power, I think they lost a bit of energy. And then the Suns started to play faster. They started to play longer. And goal after goal after goal. And I think it was 6, maybe 7 in that second quarter, but they all came in a hurry and the Power didn't have an answer to it. From then, well, we saw it in the last quarter, the whole thing slowed down, unfortunately, except for, maybe a 5-minute burst there and some inaccurate kicking. But the Gold Coast continue to win in the Northern Territory. They played the conditions better. They had some very good players across the board and they kicked straighter, like 15 goals, 8. Straight kicking is good football, and the Power missed a number of opportunities that you would think they could kick.
That's right. I think there were crucial moments in that first half where there were gettable goals for Port Adelaide, and as you said, they left them out there. But the Suns look to be a very balanced team, and wouldn't it be nice just to get into a round 10 game and add in Matt Rao to your midfield? And as you mentioned, that dominance in the back half of the second quarter was really just the Gold Coast mids getting on top at centre bounce, and it was impressive to watch. And one of the players I hadn't seen until tonight, Bodie Hewlin, what a game. He went head-to-head with Jason Horne-Francis many times as well, and his ability to compete and win his own ball is incredible, and it just seems like that runs deep for the Suns, and it's exciting if you're a Suns supporter because that's the type of footy that wins finals. And then I was coming into the game thinking they're far too tall. How are they going to compete? And to be really honest, I'm sitting here in the second half writing notes like Lockie Jones goes down and Christian Moraes is not a defender. And he had to play more than a half as a half back, and I think the Port Adelaide coaches probably thought it's a good night for you to learn a few lessons and play against Christian Petrarca. But you're probably sitting there as Todd Marshall and thinking, geez, I'm a bit stiff, I've missed this game. And I think if you're a Port Adelaide coach and you know then what you know now, you would have wanted Todd Marshall in that side tonight with the injuries that occurred and the lack of depth with the Suns' talls, particularly with Witts coming in late.
Yeah, not only did they have Witts come in late, you get Moyle who kicks 3, his best haul ever, and then in the back line you've got Collins. And I've watched him a number of times here. This has been a number of years. He continues to do the same thing day after day. Or watch him on the television. It's different to watching him live and at the ground. You see the work that he does early. You see the work with his positioning. And as you said earlier, Georgie House got caught behind too often. Now, he didn't really get caught behind. Collins played in front the whole time. Collins took the position from him. He's confident, he's strong, he's big. He says, you know what? I'm going to play you from in front and see if he can beat me there. Now, some forwards go, oh, here we go. I'm going to have a crack at this. But Collins is actually so good and so confident in himself. He also gets supported by his teammates that he can do it, and it breaks down a forward. I tried to do it sometimes when I was playing, and the problem was I think blokes used to then just sit on my head. Russell Robinson did that a few times, and there's a couple of really nice photos that he reminds me of when I see him. But it's brave to play in front as a backman, and that I really like that about Collins. And then, I've seen Witts play here a number of times, and I really like the way he plays the conditions. And there was just some basics that the Suns executed a little bit better than the Power. They're not poles apart. And Josh Coe will go inside and he walks straight off after the siren, so he'll be disappointed. Yeah. But he'll say there's something to work with here. That I've got a team that over the journey, I reckon I can get them to a level where they can compete with the best. And the Suns aren't quite the best, but they play this oval, they play Marara and the conditions really well, and you've got to play anyone, anywhere, anytime, because especially as an interstate club, you've got to go to the MCG to play finals, if not the grand final on that last day in September.
They don't seem to have too many holes, though. When you look at their playing list, like their defence is unbelievable. You've got Collins and Andrew in the key positions. You've got Rioli and Noble off half-back. You've got Bodie Ewell and you've got Will Powell, who I really rate. There's 6 really good defenders there. They're creative, they're tough, they're hard. Organised. And that's what I love about Collins. He's obviously taking the best forward, but he's organising the blokes around him as well. He's an exceptional footballer. And with Rao back, he gels better with Petrarca. You've still got Anderson, who played a ripping game today. There's not too many holes. King was obviously well held tonight, but when you throw in Walter, Ethan Reid will come back. I still think they can challenge. You can't cover them all. Yeah.
And remember, this is a team who, if he hits the peaks that we thought he would be able to, Jamari Ugle-Hagan, who was the laid out tonight with the ankle injury, he showed in some of those 67 games with the Bulldogs before he hit those issues, just how dominant he could be, not just around the ground, but in front of goal. And we know he's a number 1 draft pick, and he's had some issues, and it was disappointing not to see him play this evening. But this is a team who, I know they had to let a few players go, but made finals, won their first final last year, and then bring in Jamari Ugle-Hagan almost as a free hit, and bring in a bloke named Christian Petrarca, who's a Norm Smith medalist. Like, this is a side who, I think Rob's right, they want for very little. And after really good start, then a couple of really questionable performances, they look like they're building for something. I think your point, Joel, that you made at the restarted proceedings is it'll be interesting now, how do they cope after playing 2 games in these conditions next week at the Docklands against North? Because that's where, although they've had such success here, as you mentioned, they've won 10 straight now at this venue. In fact, the last time they lost here was back in round 13, 2020 to Carlton. It was a long time ago. But they love coming up here. How do they now continue on? Can they frank these 2 that they've put in the book here and continue on before they get to the bye?
Well, if they drop the game next week against North, I reckon Hardwick will rip the contract up in the Northern Territory. And, Sean, my brother, was with us pre-game, and he talked about working with the Gold Coast Suns, with Mark Evans as CEO, the AFL, to try and facilitate them to keep coming back here. Now, I want them to come back here because they've done it for a while now. They're successful. We're learning all the players. We love Daniel Rioli. We love Joel Jeffrey. We want Ben Long playing. We want more and more. It was nice to see Jace Burgoyne playing tonight. And, he just looks like his dad, if you ask me. He runs around, just looks like Peter, the kid that I grew up playing footy with. But if they go, and when I say they, the Gold Coast Suns, if they go to Melbourne next week and they drop that game, I think Hardwick will blow a gasket and he'll say to Mark Evans, the CEO, I'm here to coach and win premierships. We can't keep going there because it depletes the resources of our players. Their energy's low when they get back. We then travel to Melbourne this year, for example, and we lose to the Kangaroos, who we should beat every day on any ground. Now, I'm not saying they're going to lose to North Melbourne, but if for some reason they did, that will put a spanner in the works. Now, Simon Goodwin, who was at Melbourne, I've seen this happen before. They go to Alice Springs historically, and they kept going to Alice Springs, and they kept losing. And Goodwin, and I know Simon, but he was publicly saying, we have to stop going to Alice Springs. We have to stop selling home games and playing someone like GWS in Alice Springs and lose that game and drop those 4 points. So it's a really interesting byplay within a football club. How much say does the coach have? How much say does the club have? How much say does the AFL hierarchy have? And ultimately, clubs exist to win premierships. That's the Port Adelaide motto. Everyone exists to win premiership, but only one club every year can stand on the dais and hold up the cup. So the margins are so small. They're so tiny that a coach in a club will look and try and find that tiny little bit at the margin that they can change, that they can get better at. And you never know, it might mean that the Gold Coast Suns say, no thanks into the future. I hope not.
Except the reverse of that would be for the amount of funding that goes into the Gold Coast Suns from the AFL. Would the AFL, I would suggest, would have some right to turn around and go, no, you will help grow the game in the northern states.
And I think there's also an argument on the flip side. Let's assume the reverse. Let's assume they beat North. And then whatever week is after that, they go,
They've got a bye after they play North.
Bye and then Brisbane
You should be laughing. And for me, I look at it from a coaching perspective, and this is glass half full. You've got the opportunity to come here for a fortnight, on what you've said, likely fully funded. You get to post guys like Petrarca, who has essentially walked into your footy club, catching the fish that he caught on social media. Like, if that's not a marketing play to every other footballer in the competition, I'm not sure what is. Like, who hooked that fish for him is my question.
Well, I know exactly who it was. Ash Pendula. He works for Why Not Fishing. I've been out with him. He's a good guy. And that would have been a 1 metre 10 jewfish. That is a trophy fish of a lifetime.
And so you walk away from this as Hardwick and you say, we've won both games. Yep, the boys are hanging for the bye. And also, here's a little test while we're fatigued and while we're tired. And we've also just had this mini pre-season camp in Darwin in May. What a treat. I think there's opportunities here from a culture perspective. They've learnt not just about culture within their club, but culture from the territory. Sir Doug Nicholls round, like, what an incredible opportunity as a footy team to be in Darwin, to experience that time as a group, to get out of your bubble as small as it is on the Gold Coast. I think there's great opportunity there.
It's what came out of the discussion about North Melbourne selling games to WA, and it was, this is outrageous. It gives Fremantle, West Coast all these extra bonuses and all these chances. North win the game in Bunbury, and they damn near beat Freo in the game at Perth Stadium. So they take one of those two wins and they pocket $5 million, where other clubs whinge and moan about how much money that they need. They actually go and say, you know what, we're going to take this upon ourselves and we're going to make some cash and sell these games. And the Gold Coast, they will be getting paid, and they'll be getting paid good money to come here. And there's almost a bit of an obligation too for a club that is so supported, to the tune of almost $20 million more than some other clubs in the competition. They actually have an obligation to grow the game, to sell the game, and to sell themselves as a football club. And what was most interesting tonight is looking at the number of Port Adelaide fans that are here. And if you wondered why that is, why are there so many Port Adelaide fans here? Well, there'd be a whole host of reasons. But one would be because about 13 years ago, for a period of 4 to 5 years, Port came here and built a group of supporters here because They were there, they were in the community, and then things changed and other clubs took these advantages. But Port did that. Here's your chance to build a big chunk of fans away from your home base. And if you still want to know whether this works or not, go around the nation and see where Essendon fans are of my age. They're everywhere because Kevin Sheedy, when he was coach, took the Bombers everywhere and made them a national club. So, yeah, I just think I get your point. Sometimes, and when you're the Richmond Football Club and you lose a couple of games that you've sold, like right on the siren to the Gold Coast.
to Carmichael Hunt's after the siren. We all remember that one.
Yes, we do. And the reason why that comes up is because the coach does go back and go, no, we're a big enough football club here. We don't need to do this. And I get that with the support, the corporates, the memberships. Gold Coast are not in that camp.
No, I agree. And that's why I say the byplay between the coach, the administration of the club, and then the AFL. Because Greg Swan's here tonight. Andrew Dillon is a regular visitor to the Northern Territory. I know that he knows the Northern Territory really well because he sat on the AFLNT board for many years as the executive rep. And that'll be those discussions. That'll be how it plays out over time. The Northern Territory government, which I have been part of for 5 years previously, and I was tourism minister, we're desperate for this because it also brings people up. And how many people saw Christian Petrarca catch that fish in another state? Now, I reckon he's got a fair following. I think Gold Coast have got a fair following. I think the AFL's got a fair following on all their media platforms. And look, there's also another market of Christian Petrarca cooking the fish with his shirt off down the beach.
Outdoor barbecue.
Outdoor barbecue, showing what the lifestyle is in Darwin. So as a tourism minister, I'm saying, hang on, these are the mob that I want. I want Christian Petrarca going out and catching that fish. And if he doesn't catch that fish, that's okay. We'll still get him cooking the barbecue on the foreshore, looking out over the sunset and doing all those things. There's so many factors at play here. I raise the coach's priorities and then like to counter argue with, okay, what else is in it? What else is in it for the community? Because what does that lead to? That leads to the conversation, the broader conversation about the 20th team. What would a 20th team do for the Northern Territory? Not just for the community, not just for young Indigenous boys and girls, but what would it do for the entire economy? The AFL is a billion, I don't know how many billion-dollar economy. The Northern Territory needs a slice of that.
Talking all the big picture stuff, as well as the nitty-gritty of what went out in front of us here at Marara and at the SCG tonight. We'll have Isaac Heaney for you very shortly. But first, if he hears this a few more times, Damien Hardwick will be very happy with any deal being done to send his side to the top end. Here are the Suns after their win tonight. A big victory over Port Adelaide. Yardapulti in the Sir Doug Nicholls rounds by 25 points. So the Gold Coast Suns celebrating down in their rooms. We'll have a chat with you if we can as soon as Will Zwar is able to grab somebody for us. And just mentioning again, next up for Gold Coast after this win here in Darwin, they have got North Melbourne at the Docklands, then the bye, and then they take on Brisbane. So it's the Q clash. That's at Gold Coast Stadium. Then down to Cardinia Park, the Hawks and Freo. Big tests in rounds 15 and 16. So that's immediately what's in front of Gold Coast. For Port, who would be tremendously disappointed by the way they played in the second and third terms. Good fight back in the last, but too little too late. Port Adelaide, Carlton next at the Adelaide Oval, and that game is a Saturday night game, the second of the Doug Nicholls round. So the Power taking on Carlton at Adelaide Oval. Then they have the bye as well, and then they head across to the west to take on the West Coast Eagles at Perth Stadium. Then they'll host Sydney in Adelaide, Collingwood in round 15 at the G, and then the second of the showdowns at round 16 in Adelaide. So there's a bit to play out there as well. By the way, just repeating the result earlier tonight, Sydney by 6 points over Collingwood, 11-15-81 to 10-15-75. We'll have the votes for you very shortly. Lauren Arnell and Joel Bowden will have them for you in the ABC Footballer of the Year. But before we get all of that, let's have a look at some of the numbers from tonight with Rob Cross.
Overall disposals, Gold Coast had 34 more than Yatapulti. In terms of contested possessions, 143 to 141, so pretty close. Clearances 41 to 30 in favour of Yatapulti. Hit-outs 39 to 33, and inside 50, 62 to 55 in favour of Gold Coast. Some of the key stats leading the way was, in the end, Zach Butters. Big last quarter, had 35 disposals, 18 kicks, 17 handballs. And for the winners, the Gold Coast, Anderson 33, Yuland 31. Terrific game by Yuland. Metres gained back to Anderson, almost 1 kilometre, 958 metres gained. Noble had 31, Petrarca 27, Dan Rioli 23. And apart from Butters for Yatapulti, Burgoyne tried all night, finished with 28 possessions. Burn-Jones 27 and Willem Drew 24. And some of the ones down the bottom, as Lauren pointed out, Ben King was very well held by Alir, just the 6 disposals and just the 1 goal one for Ben King.
Worth bringing up again, the injuries. There were a couple of them throughout the game. For the Gold Coast, Lockie Weller missed a fair chunk of proceedings with a hamstring injury. Will Graham out with concussion. And for Yatapulti, Lockie Jones out with concussion as well. So some concerns on both camps with the injuries to come. And of course, Gold Coast just getting back. Powell, but lost the likes of Ethan Reid to the knee injury, a long missing through injury. They will be able to get Alex Davies back next week, though. He was managed officially, as was Jamara Ugle-Hagan. Sam Collins will be joining us in just a few moments downstairs. Will Zwar is going to have a chat with him. We'll bring that to you very shortly. A little bit of news to bring you up to date with, too, in the other venues. The A-League men's semi-finals are bad news for Adelaide fans. They've gone down in the second leg, well beaten too, by Auckland FC. So losing the game tonight in front of a sold-out stadium as well. 3-0 Auckland FC beating Adelaide United. So that means they go through to the final. Auckland FC on aggregate 4-1. Sydney and Newcastle to decide who Auckland FC will be playing in the final, the grand final of the A-League men. In the National Rugby League, a couple of games to bring you up to date with there. Full-time, Cronulla have beaten the Bulldogs tonight. That was at Lang Park by 22 points, 38-16. And the Dolphins beat the Rabbitohs by 22 points, 32 points to 10. Ahead of the Sam Collins interview, which we'll have for you very shortly. We might get the votes in the ABC Football of the Year.
Let's do it.
Let's do it, Lauren.
I'm going to give an early apology to Bodie Yuland. I think he's been very unlucky, and I wish there was a fourth vote to give him, but there's not. One vote, Noah Anderson. I thought he led very, very well as skipper and got his hands dirty in the moments that mattered, those second and third quarters where the game shifted. I thought he really stepped up in those sections of the game especially. One vote. 2 votes, my man, Sam Collins. Stats don't tell the full story of a key defender who's organised his team all night and done an exceptional job. So Collins, 2 votes, and the 3 votes was, for me, the 4-quarter effort, and particularly early in the game put it away. John Noble, his run-off half-back, I think he played exceptionally well last week as well, but for tonight I think he had significant impact in balancing when the numbers were flowing on turnover. His decision-making was great, and he had a fair bit of the footy himself and a goal. John Noble, 3. Sam Collins 2, Noah Anderson 1.
All votes to the Gold Coast Suns. He didn't get the 3 votes from Lauren Arnell, but he'll be okay with that, I reckon, because he got to speak to Will Zwart downstairs. Here's Will with Sam Collins. Will!
Thanks, Clint. Joining me is Sam Collins, the games record holder here at Marara. Sam, how does it feel to notch up win number 10 in a row for the club?
Yeah, it's great. You know, we love coming here, and a couple of men down at half-time. Well fought out game by the Sunnies today. Very proud of our team today. It was super, and most importantly to the Darwin community and the NT for turning out for us today. 11,000, 12,000 here today. We absolutely love coming here, and yeah, I love their support.
Last week it was the first quarter where the backs sort of let the Saints get ahead. This week it was the last quarter where you let Port come back in. What have you learnt from the last 2 weeks up here?
Yeah, well, first of all, to Port, we knew they were going to be a really strong finishing side. They've shown that the last month of footy they've played, and they came at us in the end, but we were able to stand tall and take the win by however many points in the end. So super proud of the boys to dig in with a few men down, but slow start last week, probably ball use let us down a bit, and then this week I thought just the grit and way to kind of sit in there and fight and scrap, and we walk away with 4 points and hard-fought win.
Mentioned you're a few men down. Obviously, Lockie Weller went down, I think, in the first quarter. Will Graham with concussion as well. I guess, how do you sort of adapt to those conditions, particularly up here where you're playing in 30 degrees and 78% humidity?
Yeah, geez, it's only 78. I suppose we play a system-based football, and some boys play different roles today, but it just goes to show that, if you know the system well enough, you can play any role, and our system keeps it safe, whether that's Jed Walter playing a small forward role or Johnny Noble playing full-time wing. It's just the dependability of our boys to just get a role done, and off the back of that we're able to win and play competitive footy.
For the rest of the season, you've got a pretty tough draw. I'm not sure how much you've looked at it, but I don't think any more sides under 12th position and only 3 under 10th. Do you think you've done enough in the first 9 weeks of the season to compete for the top 8 and for the wild card, the top 10?
Yeah, absolutely. I fully back our system. Suns brand of footy stacks up. We had a couple of weeks there where we weren't our best. We come back, we play our system, the boys execute role, and we walk away from Darwin with 2 wins and a bit of a spring in our step. So, we're itching for the second half of the season, and hopefully where our money's made at the back end and into the finals again. That's what we're looking for. That's what we want to achieve as a footy club.
Mentioned earlier that you're the games record holder here at Marara. Is that something that you sort of look at with pride now, or do you think maybe something later in your career?
Oh yeah, definitely. To have any record in an AFL environment, this one will get taken off me in years to come, no doubt. But my career was over when I was 2 years into the game, and now to be a games record holder at an Oval, like, some people will laugh and say it's nothing too serious and there's better things, but I just hang my hat on fronting up every week and making a career when my career was done and dusted. So to have a record here, something to wipe it in years to come, and I just love coming to the territory, and as a club we embrace it. We love coming here as well. So
And with all that experience, just between you and me, what's the secret to playing so well here?
Some of the boys load up on the grippo. I don't subscribe to that, but I think just dig in early and just never let your man know how much you're hurting, because game's half in the head. So that's the key, I reckon.
It's been a good week away from footy as well. What else have you been up to here in Darwin?
Yeah, we got up to a few school clinics early on in the piece. We love doing that and getting around the community up here. They embrace us with open arms, and most importantly, how important it is to our Indigenous fellas to get up here and either play in front of a strong Indigenous community or their family and friends if their community's from up here. And that's probably one of the highlights, is to see the happiness it brings them and the way they love their football. And shout out to the Long family who hosted us to St Mary's earlier on in the week, put on some turtle and some great fish, and really made the club feel super welcome up there.
Thank you, Sam Collins, game record holder here at Marara. Congratulations and good luck for the rest of the year.
Thanks, man. Cheers, appreciate it.
I bet you the sports scientists aren't happy about that. Turtle, no good for the waistline at all. I remember talking to Willie Rioli about that, saying, eat a few too many turtles, you're amazed how quickly you stack the kilos on. So, keep that quiet, Sam Collins. I did like his line about he couldn't believe it was only 75% humidity as well. It was tough out there. You could see how slippery it was. You could see Joel Bowden, you summed it up really well. You can see the sheen on everybody's arms after about quarter time. It's a tough place if you're not used to those sorts of conditions. But a good win to Sam Collins. And for the life of me, I still can't believe Freo let him go after just 2 seasons.
Wild, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
They also traded Andrew McLeod to Adelaide.
There's different reasons behind that.
But that's the biggest one.
It's an interesting story, that one. But that wasn't the same as actually you got him across, you gave him a fitness program, you built him up, and then you said, nah, you're not what we want. I'm staggered to this day. And then he goes on and wins a couple of fairest and bests, and again was terrific tonight and has been for a couple of years.
But it's a rare insight, Clint, to hear him say how much he was hurting.
Oh, yeah.
I like that.
He's actually hurting, and they're here and they've been here over a number of years. And I think we underestimate it. I go for a walk in the morning and I think, oh, how lovely is it? But it's already 25 degrees at 6:30 a.m. And when you bring a team up here, That's the difficulty. Now, why do I say that? Imagine if you were the home team playing 11 or 12 games in the Northern Territory. You might play 1 in Alice Springs or 2 in Alice Springs. You might play 10 in Darwin. Do you reckon you'd have an 80% win-loss ratio?
Reasonable advantage, wouldn't it?
Enormous home ground.
Enormous home ground advantage. And then all you have to do is go to Melbourne and win one.
One thing I would be disappointed about is having come here to Marara and had my first Chico roll in about 20 years. You don't see those at the new footy stadiums anymore. Well, let me assure you right now, Perth Stadium's all this a la carte stuff. It's good to go back, take myself back in time. Those were the days. Now, I need to be serious for a moment. Sydney have come from the clouds to beat Collingwood by 6 points. Wasn't a surprise they won. They are on top of the ladder, but they were down by 33 points at the 18-minute mark of the second term. The Pies kicked the first 5 goals of the game. But then, after leading by 22 points at quarter time, 21 at the half, the Swans just stormed back. It was a truly remarkable performance from where Sydney came from. Brodie Grundy, admittedly, Oscar Steen was injured, but didn't he capitalise on that performance? 34 disposals, 47 hit-outs, 12 clearances and a goal. Nick Blakey had a career-high 39 disposals. So when Oscar Steen went off the ground with a knee injury at the 10-minute mark of the third quarter and didn't return, things definitely swung the Swans' way, but they took their opportunities to win by 6 points and stay on top of the ladder after beating Collingwood at the SCG. After the game, our ABC Sport team went down into the rooms and Declan Byrne caught up with Isaac Heaney.
I'm here with Isaac Heaney. A tight win, a huge game, a comeback. How stressful was it out there? Because Collingwood took it to you that first half.
They were very good. They smacked us in the contest early, and we had our backs against the wall in the first half. And we knew we had to ramp our contest up, and it's probably something that's been lacking a little bit the last couple of weeks. But credit to them, they were really tough and a mature side, and we probably didn't get our connection, our system right early with their speed through the middle and the overlap run with their hands. So they were pretty potent, and then we ramped it up, and it was a bit of a mature win, which is nice. So we'll go back and figure it out. But a win's a win, and we're pretty happy with that. It was tough going.
Take me to half-time. What does Dean Cox say? What alarm bells are going off? Does he give you a rocket? Has he given you a big spray yet this season?
Nah, we probably copped more of a rocket throughout the week after the North Melbourne game with how bad our defence was. But he was good. He was composed. Him and Ben Matthews were really composed and sharp in there. And we had to tidy up some of our defence and our system working together. We're a bit lackadaisy there. And once we did, we were back in the game. That third quarter was really good. And it helps when the big boy puts on the platter and you can sort of get a bit of ascendancy going forward.
Tell me about the big boy who took home the Goods O'Loughlin medal. 40-something hit-outs, plus disposals. Yes, their lead ruck went down in the third quarter. He was already on top. Just how good is Brodie Grundy?
Fine wine. He's unbelievable. What he puts into his game is second to none. And I love working with him. He just puts on a platter. He just know you can see in his eyes when he's on. He'll tell you where he's going to put it, and you just do your work and get there. And he just does it with nice soft hands. So, that sounds pretty wrong, but. He's been unbelievable, and he's just what he gives back to the club's just amazing. So, I don't know, a few more years in him for sure.
I know it was a big team effort, but take me to that goal in the third quarter that got the Swans in front. You looked just about as pumped as I've seen you for a goal this year. That one meant a bit.
I sprayed it. My kicking tonight was woeful. I had some absolute shockers, but it was nice to hit that one flush and put it through. And obviously scoreboard pressure is massive, and when you get your nose in front, it's pretty important. So it was a big one. It was probably right on my distance, but I flushed it, and it was really nice. So I was pretty pumped.
And tell us about the body this year, because you had one game out, then you had that ankle that was a bit annoying a couple of weeks ago. Is it just part and parcel of playing, or has this year been a bit harder with sort of niggles and playing through your body?
Yeah, no, I just had I probably pushed my calf a little bit hard, and then in one of the games, and ended up with a little nick in it. But it's just, I think it's the speed of the game's gone up, the high intensity running's gone up, and it's probably just a little bit of part and parcel with the game, and a little bit unlucky with a few things, but body feels really good now, and just had to adjust a little bit. So I'm, feels fit or feel good.
You mentioned halftime Dean Cox and Ben Matthews. We had Ben Matthews on before the game. I asked him, with Voss going out, has he still got head coach aspirations? Could you see someone like Ben Matthews one day leading an AFL team?
He loves it. He's amazing for the game, and he's a really good people's person. So absolutely, I could definitely see him going. I mean, I don't want to say it too much just in case he gets a word of it and takes off on us. But he could definitely do it. He's an amazing fella, and similar to Cox, he just loves the game and loves the fellas, and he's obviously head of our defence at the moment, and I mean, there's a reason why defence is up there is with the best in the competition, so he could definitely do it.
Final one, the Margaret game is so big for the Swans. You've got a few Goods O'Loughlin medals yourself, but this week it looked like a lot of those players, those ex-players, the First Nations players coming back to the club. It looked like a lot of fun. What was the highlight for you with a lot of those boys coming through?
It was pretty special. I think we had, I think it was 15 out of the 21 past Indigenous players come to training and spend some time throughout the week with us, and probably the highlight was having brekkie and then going out, and they came out and trained. I mean, watched us train, and they had a kick, some goal kicking after it, so that was pretty cool to go back, and I mean, they just love the game and so happy to be back, and something pretty special that Jared Hodges does with the club and what the Swans do there is pretty impressive. So it's a special week, and that was probably the highlight.
Isaac, 9-1, doing pretty well on top of the ladder. Well done, mate.
Thanks, brother. Ta.
He's certainly fired up, Isaac Heaney, speaking there with Declan Byrne downstairs, as he should be. The Swans back on top of the ladder as we stand. They'll stay there too because of percentage. 9-1, they've won their past 7 after a 6-point win over Collingwood a little bit earlier tonight. Here at Marara, 10 out of 10 for Port Adelaide. 10 consecutive wins. For Gold Coast over Yardapulti. They've won their last 10 games here at Marara. 15-8-98 to Yardapulti's 10-13-73. Tomorrow, wherever you happen to be, SA Grandstand, 10:30 if you're in South Australia with Aaron Bryans. Don't forget Saturday AFL, Corbin Middlemass and the team from midday in Melbourne. And if you're in the West, I'll have Sports Talk from 10 o'clock. I'll be in Darwin. Sharad Willingham and Glenn Quartermain will be with us in Perth, but we'll chat to you from 10 o'clock. Final thoughts as we wrap things up. Great to see you again, Rob Cross.
You too, Clint. Awesome. Thank you very much.
I'll hopefully see you.
It was brilliant.
Again in the next 10 years.
Yes.
That's about my Darwin trips. Joel Bowden, always good to catch up with you again. Thanks very much for everything.
Thanks for having me. Can I just do my best players quickly? Rioli, Jeffrey, Burgon.
I thought you'd have gone Rioli. And Lauren O'Neill, lovely to see you again. And hopefully we'll catch up sometime soon in Adelaide. The Will Zwar, great job last couple of boundaries, mate. Well done. Tricky conditions with the equipment. I've been there. I know these things happen. To Frank, outstanding. To Aussie Bob, who's just a legend. It was an absolute pleasure to have you back. And the only person I know will be devastated is Quentin Hull, but we got to use you and Q didn't. So bad luck to you, Q. I'm very happy with that. And a massive win to always have Adam Jones pushing the buttons back in the studio. On behalf of everybody, thanks very much for being with us up here in Darwin. A top performance from the crew. Good performance from Gold Coast. They continue on their merry way. 10 from 10 at Marara. And another victory for them as they look to build and improve on their first finals appearance and first finals win from last season. They're now 7-3 in 2026. Plenty of footy to come tomorrow wherever you happen to be. And the Crows will take on North in our first game. Clint Wilden on behalf of everyone signing off for now. Thanks for your company.